Something like this. Hit it.
The Roger Report live morning show, weekdays at 9 a.m.
Say y'all, I was on Roger's panel a few times and I couldn't take it. The heat. I got out the kitchen. It was hot. I was sweating. I had to get out.
He's Roger, and he's right.
Check this out.
We can live or die. You choose. I have spoken to you a lot of times in hatred and anger, and you have not heard me. Well, you had better hear me today. If you won't listen to me when I make an appeal for the Negroes because you have no concern for the Negroes, listen to me when I make an appeal for America. You claim you love America. Well, we love America. But you are driving us back and you are making a Samson out of us, and we are going to pull down the pillar. And then you think we have no right to ask for something? Is it too much to ask you to grant us human dignity? Should we be put down and shot to death for this request? If so, you can aim your guns. What the hell do you think we care about dying if you're going to deny?
Good morning, folks, and welcome to the best show on social media. I'm sorry, folks, got an audio issue. I'm getting that solved right now. All right, let's try that again. Good morning, folks, and welcome to the best show on social media. If you are new to the channel, take a moment out to hit that like button because this is where you're going to find the best content on social media, and you don't have to worry about it because you're going to have me right here to make sure this happens. And if you've already been coming to the channel for a while, then go ahead and hit that like button because you already know what time it is, and you know that this is where you're going to get the best content on social media. It's not a mystery to you at this point. You've seen other people do it. You've seen other people do it well. But what you have not seen is anyone do it quite the way I do it. So make sure you hit that like button. And everyone, yes, everyone, take a moment out to share the content, y'all. There are so many people who need to get great content like this, and it's just a small thing you can do to help the world be a better place. And isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Don't we want the world to be a better place? Of course we do. So share the content out. Share it through your social media. Share it through word of mouth, or even text someone's phone. But do what you got to do to help spread the word. All right, folks, we are back for another interesting show. Today, we are going to be dealing with personal policies of better black men. I'm going to say that again, y'all. We're going to be dealing with personal policies of better black men. Now, before we go get too deep into this, we're going to take a quick moment out to give some shout outs to, well, first of all, let me say shout out to all the people who come through on a regular basis and give me views on a regular basis, because y'all make up the fam. So shout out to each and every one of y'all. Shout out for all the people who take the time out to hype me up every chance you get, y'all. This stuff is important to the algorithm. Please continue to do so. If you're not doing it, then add to it. But hype me up every chance you get. Shout out to all the people who leave comments after the stream. Shout out to everybody who hits that like button. These are all important things for the channel. And shout out to the people who go above and beyond the call of duty. The people who take the time out to give a financial contribution to the channel, because without your support, I can't do some of the things that I do, and I definitely can't do this the way I do it. So shout out to each and every one of y'all, and shout out to excuse me, shout out to Joe's. He is our sponsor of today's stream. So I mean, people just like Joe's. Shout out to you, my brother. Appreciate the support. Thank you for coming around as much as you do. And that's real talk, y'all. And I'm gonna give a couple of shout outs to some of the first people to check in this morning when you started the show. It was always great to see that you got a few people checking in, but y'all know how it goes. There can only be one. So shout out to the Highlander of today's stream. My main man, Bruce Owen Wayne, is in the building. He has done it again, as he's letting us know, y'all. He's done it again. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. Shout out to FBA Gold P. Shout out to Gold P. Glad to see you, my brother. Glad to see you. Shout out to my main man, Trail Billy, is in the house, representing like he always does. Hashtag long live the habitual line steppers. Hashtag Negroes in the wilderness. Hashtag dignity over vagina. Hashtag Al Gore's babies. Hashtag Hell Hydra. Shout out to you, my brother. Shout out to you. We got Indigo Flow in the building. Great to see you, my man. Shout out to the nice palace he's pulled up a seat at the cool table. Good to have you here. Superstar Jay Quick is in the building. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Floyd Thompson is in the house. Great to see you. Great to see you. I'm Listening is here. Great to have you in the building. The Great Black Reset is in the building. Good to have you, my brother. Good to have you. We got my main man, the pitmaster himself, Chef Mike's Roundtable is in the building. Shout out to the entire pit crew, and shout out to Chef Mike's Roundtable. Great to have you here. Great to have you here. We also have, excuse me, we got all my hoes demonetized is also in the house. Great to have you, brother. Great to have you. And shout out to you for doing the first super chat of the day. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate you. He says, I'm going to give you a break today, brother. Don't expect any props. Don't even expect any props or YouTube award for your work. this is the first one. Don't expect any props or YouTube award for your work. So take the victory. Hashtag Happy Thursday. Well, I guess I got to take the victory. He gave me another choice, but shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. I'm going to take the victories where I can get them, y'all. See, I'm a humble man. I'm going to take the victories where I can get them. Okay? And that's just real talk. That's just real talk, y'all. And guys, today, I want to talk a little bit about the personal policies that Black men should pick up on. Okay? These are things that we need to do as Black men because it's simply better for us at the end of the day. Okay, these are things we need to do as Black men because it's simply better for us. And y'all, it's nothing wrong with us being better. All right. And we're going to talk about some things that I'm going to say some of this stuff should be some basic stuff we should be talking about. Some stuff is going to be very basic. We should have kind of, been thinking about this stuff for a good little while. I know for some guys you may say, well, this is kind of elementary to a certain degree, but I'm gonna say we got to think about this, y'all. We have a lot of Black men nowadays who are in an unfortunate situation of being raised by their mothers, and they do not even know their fathers. Some of them don't even know the name of their father, and then some of them don't get their father's influence, even if they know who he happens to be. A lot of Black women are making things very difficult on Black men to guide their own sons. All right. So the best thing we could do is put information out there that I'm pretty sure a lot of men are going to agree with, especially fathers. All right. And even though it may seem like elementary to some of you, some of these things may seem like, very much some elementary type of stuff. We got to make an effort to make sure there's certain concepts and things that are known throughout our community as just regular stuff that Black men are supposed to be doing. If you do not want the gynocracy, as some of y'all call it, if you do not want a bunch of Black feminists, okay, if you do not want a bunch of white folks, if you do not want your enemies influencing the mass of us in a majority way, we have to do something that fight against that. So, when you get a chance, break out some pen and paper, pull out a notepad on your phone, okay, jot some of this stuff down, because I'm gonna be suggesting some things that, and we'll add to these things later on down the road, y'all. We will add to these things later down the road, but I'm gonna be suggesting some things that we as Black men need to regard as our personal policies. Okay. Now I know a lot of people say, well, anybody could do that. We ain't worry about everybody else, y'all. Let's worry about ourselves first. And now if you want to look out for somebody else after we good, hey, that's your business. Okay. But let's worry about ourselves first. All right. What's so wrong with worrying about ourselves first? And shout out to all my hoes, demonetized one more again. Appreciate this other super chat. He says, Ed Trail Bentley tax refund. Ain't that about nothing? Well, I appreciate it, but we're not going to encourage. We're not going to encourage refunds around here. We not going to do that. We're not going to encourage refunds around here. That's real talk. We not going to do that, because when you guys financially support, y'all are doing a great deal. Again, it is above and beyond the Call of Duty, and it's very much appreciated. So the last thing we're going to do is encourage refund, because what I'm not going to do is start begging people for money. We ain't going to do that. But shout out to all my hoes demonetized. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate your real talk. Okay. Shout out to the nice Palace. He says, we got to take our television, radio, and music then, Roger. Well, you know what? At the nice Palace, I mean, there's a lot of things we're going to need to do. And guess what? This is a place where we can start. All right. As they say, Rome was not conquered in a day. Okay. So I'm going to put some stuff out there, and I want y'all in the chat to give a little feedback on what y'all think, as far as these are personal policies that we can take on. Okay. These are personal policies that we can take on. Because a personal policy is something the government can't stop you from doing. Okay. A personal policy is something the government cannot stop you from doing. All right. The government don't have to like what we do, but if we're doing things that's involved in our rights, the government gonna have a problem. Now, y'all should understand, if you get how America works, the American government has always been anti-Black men. All right. And it's very possible that it may always be anti-Black men. I can't guarantee you that it will ever be a time where the United States government is not going to be anti-Black men. Okay. But even if it is, if we're going to be in this country, we're going to have to find ways to win regardless. Okay. We're going to have to find ways to win regardless. Okay. It is what it is. And I've said plenty of times, y'all, we need to get out our own egos. All right. And we got to learn to accept that life is not fair. So there's always going to be somebody saying what you can do or what you can't do when you have a good idea that's going to help Black men out from a general standpoint. That's going to always be the case. People are going to present reasons why we shouldn't even try. All we got to do is ignore them. Okay. All we got to do is ignore. We are not paid to listen to them. We don't have to, y'all. We can do the things that we want to do. So I started putting together some stuff, things that we've talked about in the past a little bit, even ideas from some people I happen to know, some basic stuff. So these things are not in a particular order. Okay. And I'm going to say we should be looking at Black men to be doing these things because the normal retirement age in America is 65 years old. I'm going to say we should be pushing this stuff for any brother who was 18 to 64. Okay? These are things that are good for people that's 18 to 64. Now, I'm not saying everybody going to accept this stuff. I'm not saying everybody going to like this stuff, but I do think there's good reason to do some of these things. Now, if you guys disagree, let it be known in the chat. Of course, anybody who joins the panel, let me know what your take is. But it is what it is, okay? Now, and I do believe this is stuff that we should be encouraging. So when young men become 18, when a man has become 18 years old and he's finished with high school, and I'm saying finished because unfortunately we got brothers who are raised in homes where they're not even encouraged to graduate. Some guys are just going to drop out because a lot of them are raised with single mothers and they mama don't care. They just don't care what they do. If they graduate, they fine with it. They don't graduate, they don't care either way. It don't mean anything to them. Okay? It don't mean anything to them. Shout out to No Placeholder. He said, number one, no V card, no ring at Great Black Reset. Shout out to you, brother. I think we're a long way from men accepting that. It's not on my list, but I will say this. We will do this from time to time. If there are suggestions that people want to add like this or something in the future, y'all, I'm going to say do the same thing, y'all. Put it in the comment section. You can just put better Black men policies and then whatever your suggestion is. Just like I've said, if you got a person that you think should be a Rufus Nice Guy, put it in the comment section. Rufus Nice Guy, your nominee. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to put it out there where I'm going to have time to sit down and add it to a list of different things. So if you have a suggestion like you just made, I'm not saying it's a bad suggestion. I don't know if Black men going to be able to agree on that at least anytime soon. I am not saying it's a bad suggestion at all, but I'm going to say, y'all, real talk, okay? Real talk, put that in a suggestion so I can bring it up to people and see how we do with it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's going to be a hard one for a mass. Y'all remember, this is stuff for the mass of Black men, okay? I think that's a great suggestion, though. But I'm gonna deal with it on a different day because it ain't already on the list. But in the future, if anybody wants something on the list, because the suggestions don't have to be by me, okay? They don't have to be by me. It's whatever we as Black men can agree upon. So, no placeholder. I'm gonna try to remember to put that on the list for something in the future so I can bring it up. I'm not gonna guarantee that, but again, y'all, if y'all want something on a list that I bring to a future show, put, better policies for better Black men, and then note what your suggestion is. You put it in the comment section, and then I will log it, okay? And that's just what it's going to be, because I can't do everything on the fly. As a content creator, people like to tell a content creator to do stuff on the fly. That don't work out real well, all right? All right, now, again, y'all, this was just me jotting down a list of some stuff. It is not in any particular type of order, okay? Now, the first one I'm going to suggest, and you know what I'm gonna say, and for a show like this, if you guys want to join the panel immediately because of this particular type of show, come on. I don't really need a monologue, but I ain't doing much of a monologue with this because I'm putting stuff out there that we as Black men, I believe we can agree upon. I believe we can agree to at least a good amount of these things. But we'll talk about it a little bit and see what people think. All right. And again, no placeholder. I try to put that as a future suggestion on the show. But if you really want it on the list, And y'all comment on any particular video. I look at the comments regularly, y'all. Almost every day I check the comments. So if y'all leave these suggestions in comments for Rufus Nice Guy, if you leave a suggestion for somebody that should be, we should be doing a grand finale on, different things on different shows, just say what the show is about and let me know what your suggestion is, and I will put it out there. All right, now I'm gonna say one of the and I believe this is going to be a difficult one for men to accept, but I do believe people should have an understanding of why it should be accepted. Something I've been saying for a good little while now. All right. I am going to suggest that we accept that our community is black men that are respectable, productive, functional men who believe in black men's leadership, our wives, and the children that live in our home. Now, I'm gonna say to everybody, y'all. Think about what I said. All right, truly think about what I'm saying. Accept that our community is black men that are respectable, productive, functional. A lot of y'all probably gonna say, "Well, ain't nothing wrong with that." That's okay. I can understand that. Okay, then I say, who believe in black men's leadership. So now you got to divide of black men right there, because every black man does not believe that black men's leadership is the thing to do. Let's be real about that. It's a lot of women-led men out there in our society, And shout out to all my people who are listening outside of America. I, love and appreciate y'all too. And I know some of y'all can do some of the stuff we talk about over here, because there's countries that are somewhat like America, but then there's countries that are not so much like America. So, what you do in your country, you got to use your wisdom. You got to use your wisdom. Okay. Now, again, there's men who don't believe in black men's leadership. So that's going to be a divide for people. And this going to be the kicker. And the children that live in our homes. Because what am I saying at this particular point? You have a child. Your child will eventually grow up. More than likely, your child is going to leave your home at some particular point in time. Once your child leaves a home, if it is a male, he got to become just like us as men. He's got to be productive, respectable, functional, and he has to believe in black men's leadership. Now, truth be told, that shouldn't be that hard of a task when you just think about it. But be realistic. When you have boys who are raised by women, and the average black woman is a white supremacist, that is not going to be an easy task for a lot of young men. So I'm saying you're going to have to consider the fact you're going to have to you're probably going to have to coach your son. If he was not raised in your home, you got to coach your son from dropping white supremacist viewpoints that he got from his mother and get him to come over to being on our side. Everybody's not going to be successful at this. That's just how the world works. Everybody's not going to be successful at this. And then on top of that, if you have a daughter, once she goes out into the world, she's no longer, she's not in our home. She got to make decisions too. Will she marry a man like us? Will she marry a man that is productive, functional, respectable, and believe in black men's leadership? Because black women don't like listening to black men. Now, I'm talking about from a general context. I ain't saying anybody's particular daughter. This is not a personal attack to anybody. But you know how black women are collectively, which means we're going to have some women who belong to you. This is your daughter who's saying, no, I ain't down with black men. I'm not doing it. I listen to a white man. I listen to a Hispanic man. I listen to an Indian man. I listen to any man but you niggas. Okay? She might even use those words. I listen to any kind of men but you niggas. Now, that's going to be somewhat difficult to wrap your head around if you have a daughter. So that's my first suggestion. Now, we have the Great Black Reset here. I'm going to go ahead and give him mic. And let's see what he said about this first suggestion.
First of all, this is the second suggestion. We gonna give no placeholder his credit and his due. He gave an excellent suggestion. An excellent suggestion.
I will put it on.
Look,
I will put it on the list for the future, brother. I will put it on the list for the future.
look.
Yeah.
You can put it as an honorable mention or whatever, but there is an explanation for that. See,
I do understand it, but it wasn't a prepared thing for me to talk about. I ain't put no points together about it. No, his or their thing about it. That's all it is, brother. Had he told me last night, it would be on the list as a suggestion today. I just didn't get the information.
I got to fight today. He ain't gonna give me my 2 minutes. He ain't gonna follow his own rules or nothing. Roger just started all wrong today. This is what's happening. This is what's going on. Roger wanna fight today, but that's okay. I brought my boxing gloves. That's what happened.
Go ahead, my brother. Go ahead.
I'm gonna use your own. I'm gonna use your own wisdom against you. We once talked about, man. We got to teach our young fellas, man, to leave these virgins alone. When you find out wrong, we got to teach our boys that. That's how we get more virgins. We gonna have to lead the charge. Then you go into no harm and no diamond. That's how that honorable mention becomes a rule. But see, Roger don't want to follow his own rules today, y'all. He don't want to do that. He don't want to do that. Now, the second rule he came up with is a good rule. See how he keep interrupting my 2 minutes, but I'm gonna keep rolling on with this thing. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You just
I chuckled. I ain't say nothing. I just chuckled. That's it. Go ahead.
Black Uru, come on up here and get him, because he out of control already. Already. But no, man, I really do think this is a necessary thing. We do need we do need rules in which we live by. We need rules in which we respect one another. I do agree with your first rule, first and foremost, but the real rule that I would add to this, other than the one that was mentioned, was we need to start honoring and respecting one another as men, as long as we are functional and productive. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. If you're doing what you got to do to maintain yourself and to take care of yourself, you are to be an honored and respected brother amongst men. And I'll lay my plane there for now.
Okay. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to you. And I'm gonna say my life has already my life done kind of fell in that anyway, because I never got married, and I've told you I ain't never been with a virgin. Not that I required it, but I think it's something to suggest about, and we gonna talk about it in a different show, because we're gonna add that to the list. Okay. Shout out to Ijabe. He says, Roger, drop the link so I can pull up. There's a link at the top, my brother, so people can pull up. So if you want to join this broadcast, just hit the link, my brother. It's available to all. All right. Now, so you think that first rule I suggested is a good rule, except that our community is black men that are respectable, productive, functional men who believe in black men's leadership, our wives, and our children that live in our homes. And keep in mind, y'all, this will mean a certain separation for a period of time for some people's children. Because your son may not be that when he leave your home. Your daughter may not be this when she leaves your home. Now, I do believe most men will not trip about their daughters living with them until they get married. Okay? I do believe that. But are you willing to say, yeah, I love her, but just for a period of time, she's not truly a part of our community? And now you can encourage her to be part of it, but she will have to take that step, because she got to find that man who is like us in order to marry, to rejoin the community. Or she can just stay with her dad. And let's keep it real, y'all. What man throwing their daughter out? That's not a likely thing. We'll throw a son out if necessary, so he can get it together. If that's the tough love he needs, so he can get it. But I ain't really heard of a black man throwing his daughter out. I just ain't. I don't know any incident where a black man threw his daughter out. I'm just gonna keep it real on that. I ain't never heard of it. Just truth be told, I ain't saying it didn't happen, but I ain't never heard of it. Shout out to Trev Bentley. He say, "Rule no cookout invites, none." You know what? I think that's a good rule that should be. I think you should add that to the comment section after the show, so I can actually bring that in as a rule in the future. Because I ain't got no problem with that one either. I think stuff like that are necessary. Okay, things like that are necessary. And y'all, and this is the thing, y'all. I'm asking y'all to do this so Roger ain't got to be trying to do every piece of the work all by himself, y'all. Okay, I don't want to do all the work by myself. If y'all got a suggestion, just man, yeah. And I'm not saying you can't super chat something. So you know what I will do? I will ask if y'all do have some suggestions for future broadcasts on this subject, because we will be going over this we'll be doing this and adding things from time to time. If y'all super chatted today, I will go through it and pull this stuff out. So no placeholder. I will pull yours out later on. Mr. Bentley, I will pull this one out later on. If y'all have any more suggestions for future shows to see how people are going to accept it, because that's the thing. Are we going to receive it or are we going to reject it? Okay, this ain't just about me. This is about as a collection of black men, at least over here at the Roger Report Lab. Are we going to accept these things, and are we willing to actually start spreading these things around to people that you deal with on a regular basis? So I will add any super chat with a suggestion, and we'll bring it up as a rule. So now, as an audience, y'all, as an audience, and y'all can be honest now. Are we approving, except that our community is black men that are respectable, productive, functional men who believe in black men's leadership, our wives, and the children that live in our homes? Because I wanted to, give those things about how, we all may have a son or daughter that may go out into the world for a particular time. Okay, that could happen to any one of us. Okay, that can happen to any particular one of us. All right, so I think that is important. Okay, I think that is very important. So, as an audience, do you all agree with that? Now, shout out to Compassionate Encounters. He said, "How do we define functional?" Functional means you have an ability to go out and function in our society to bring home the spoils of war to better us, which is why you need to have a job of some kind. Now, you can always be, especially when you're younger, you can always hold the job off if you are in that financial position, if you're still attending school, because you may go to college after high school. I know most people don't go to college, but a good amount of black men will go to college or some form of trade school right after high school, and they have yet to enter the job market. So we can't throw them away. So if they're doing that, cool, we're going to accept that. But
I would define functional in this context as someone who is taking daily steps to bring back value to the environment around them. Whether it's a job, whether it's school, it could be whether you're going to the military and things like that.
I was gonna say all that if you let me get to it. I was gonna say that. Of course,
Nah,
yes.
you're taking too long. You're out of control. You're out of control. I'm here to bring this thing under control.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna say yes. Yeah. You having a legal job, y'all. I'm putting that out there. Legal job. Why? Because if your job is illegal, whatever you quote unquote got can be taken from you. That's just the nature of the beast. Whatever you got, if you did not get it legally, it can be taken from you. So you're in a position where it really don't count. Okay? Because we need stuff that we can depend on. This is going to be for our sons, our daughters. We need some stuff that's going to actually be there. Okay? Now, I got black men are kings in the building. I don't know if that's the Ijab from the chat or not. I don't know. But first time he's coming on the show, so I'm gonna say welcome to the show. I'm covering the spring for all new people, y'all, because I done had problems in the past. I'm not going to have those same problems again. Okay, so it's nothing personal. Anybody, don't take it personal. Don't take it personal. It's just things that are necessary just to make sure you're on the same program that we on. Okay, so we have this new brother here. His name is Black Men Are Kings. Black Men Are Kings, you are afforded a 2-minute open statement. Why don't you go ahead and give that, my brother?
Salute to you, Roger. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. Peace to Roger. You're doing a great job out here, Roger.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, man, I'm Ija Bay. Peace to the brother on the panel. And, you know, it's about time black men stand up, man, and show the world that we are kings, because a lot of a lot of people don't respect us because we've been disrespected by our black woman and we've been disrespected by white supremacy. And I'm gonna be honest with you, brother. I'm Jamaican, but I've been in America for about 25 years, and I've been trying to find a black queen, and it seems impossible, because I mean, I look around, man, and I see our black women just being white supremacists, taking, you know, doing what the white man say, disrespecting the black man in public, and it's about time we stand up and show the world that we kings, man. So I just want to say, man, we're doing a great job out here. Black men are working. They're on their purpose. Black men own business. They're in the military. And all black men, we don't hold nobody nothing. All black men hold people is an ass whooping. And just, you know what I'm saying? That's all we hold people, just an ass whooping. Excuse my language, but, I respect what you're doing, Roger. And I just want to say, man, to be honest with you, just keep up the good work. And I just want to let the world know that black men are kings. And I'm a hen right there.
Well, thank you, my brother. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. And that's real talk. And shout out to Compassionate and Callous. He's saying, how do we define functional rock? And he did say something about, it sounds too similar as far as being functional and productive. No, look, this is the thing. You can be productive, and there's different ways to be productive, but you also have to be functional. You have to be able to move about the world where you're going to be accepted. Okay? Because I mean, production, yeah, go out there and produce something. But you got to be functional, and you cannot be a terror to the community. You can't be out here bullying people. You can't be out here threatening people for no reason. Getting into arguments with random folks for no reason. Trying to regulate other men about how to be with their woman. There's a lot of different dysfunctional traits that black men pick up because of the way they're raised. Now, being productive is about being able to go in there, join that military, okay, have a job, or even create a profitable business. All right. Functional, I would say, still, if you haven't gone into the job market world and you went to college or some type of trade school, yeah, I mean, we're gonna credit you for being productive because you're on your way. You're doing something to prepare to be a productive person later. But that's where functionality will come through. You got to be able to accept the schedule. You got to be to class on time. You got to get the work done. You got to do the homework. You got to do the studying. And you have to do this while you move in society. When we have a society that black men must be aware that our society is designed to put you in the system. Functional is about avoiding being put into the system. All right. The what society wants is to arrest you so they can convict you of a crime at a later date. Most times, they're not even trying to truly convict you of a serious crime right then. They just trying to get you on record so they can get you of a serious crime later on down the road. That is the game that America plays with black men. We gonna get you for this little stuff right now, and then one day we gonna put a case on you. And because people are ignorant on how jury duty is supposed to work, we're not going to even have to convict you. We're just going to convince some people you might have a thought of doing something that we suggested you did. And you know what? They're going to convict you anyway. That's why I push that we got to learn to move as a ruthless, nice guy. We should be perceived as very nice men. But we got to be ruthless in how we operate because we are living in a society that is geared to be hostile towards you. And this is something a lot of us are not told when we're growing up. So to me, it needs to be out there. And that's just real talk. It needs to be out there. So, It's got to make sense. Now I'm gonna read this because he just threw something in the chat. Compassion Cast threw something in the chat. He says functional of or having a special activity, purpose, or task relating to the way in which something works or operates. Well, if you think about this, if you're trying to help be a better black man and improve the black community as we see it, then you're gonna have to be a functional brother. Because we have a mission. There's your personal mission, and then there's your community mission. But it's gonna have to come together. And we can't do it if we're drunks. We can't do it if we high all the time. Now I understand some of y'all gonna smoke a little weed here and there, which is a personal choice because you're a grown man. I'm not gonna tell grown men that they ain't grown men. But you gotta be aware of how you go about it. Yeah, if you smoke a little weed at home, cool. But you can't smoke weed, get behind the wheel of a car, and then have an accident and then get caught up in the game because you was driving under the influence. Same thing with alcohol. You can't be breaking up events that are happening, making scenes over silly stuff. There are things we have to remember. There's events and things going on that sometime a bad situation will come up, but we do not need to take attention away from the particular event. Now, maybe you are doing something good and right. Maybe you do see your lady at a place that she didn't know you was going to, and she there with another man. Well, if it's an event for black men, you don't disrupt the whole event just because you saw your lady out there in the streets. Yeah, you peep game, and you can either address it later or address it somewhat away from the event. And I know that would be hard for any man to just not go crazy. Or even if you go to your woman's place and there's another man there, don't just pick up a gun and shoot the other guy. No, figure out what's going on first. Have an understanding there ain't nobody hitting your woman unless your woman said it was okay. Don't react and just kill somebody because of what your woman did. No, you got to be smart for yourself. There's a lot of dysfunctional things we are taught to do as black men, and we're going to have to lay some of that stuff down. And I get that it's going to be hard, but anybody who's going to say it's hard, I'm going to say what I've said many times at this point, y'all. Hard is for adults. Either the children get the hard things to do, or we as adults get the hard things to do. To me, it makes sense that adults are going to do the hard things. Okay? So we can't just react on every single motion at every moment. We got to think about us as a whole sometime too, not just your personal feelings. It's going to be difficult, but sometimes you got to think about how this is going to affect us as a whole. And that's just real talk. So as an audience, is there anybody who has a problem with this first suggestion? I want to see if anybody has a problem with it, or can I log this in as this is basically approved? Okay, which I hope this was gonna get approved, but you can't guarantee nothing. You can't guarantee nothing. But and why I look for audience reaction, I want to give the mic to my main man here. Finding the right love hole is in the building.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I just read that name. You have the mic, my brother.
Thank you for letting me wait, Roger. I really appreciate that. Shout out to the people on the panel. Shout out to the people in the chat. And I'm gonna have some controversial views, but I would really appreciate it if you allow me my full 2 minutes before niggas go crazy. So first and foremost,
well, you know what? Let me interrupt you to say this. I was thinking about this the other day, and I don't know if I said it or not. Yeah, the folks who have privilege, I'm going to start giving them a 3-minute opening statement because they got privilege, so I got to give them something. Okay?
Oh, no, you going to have this nigga thinking he's special. No.
This nigga is special, okay? He is special, okay?
I want to say this. First and foremost, niggas need to start having children. I understand that black men ain't having children, and we kind of say that's pretty good. But when we look at God's plan, right, because most of us are spiritual told Adam, be fruitful and multiply. In the book of Leviticus, right, you're supposed to have a lineage, right? Children belong to the father. And one of the things you have to do as a productive member in society is to have children so the community can continue on. Future children are the future, and it's absolutely necessary. And it's up to black men to have children, and most importantly, to have sons if you can afford it, right? Gene editing and shit like that for the niggas who can afford that, right? Surrogacy for the niggas who can afford that. But you absolutely should have children. That's something that should be a part of your responsibility to the community. And I think secondly, I do agree with being functional. And number two, I would say in the near term, try to get an Asian woman pregnant because they are great mothers, and your children will be coming out very functional. I'm gonna pass my mic right there.
Wait
Oh,
a minute.
hold
Are
on.
any of these people getting married?
Wait. And last thing, I do understand the recreational drug thing, but I'm not going to stop blowing cocaine up a white woman's butt while she giving me a blowjob. I'm just not happening. Not pass the mic.
And I'm gonna say real quick, shout out to Black Who Strikes. He says functionality is performing a worthwhile task. Productivity is performing a task that increasingly higher levels of effectiveness and efficiencies. And I'm gonna say when you look at this, y'all, both of these are needed. And I'm asking black men to be both of these and more. Okay. I'm asking y'all to be both of those and more because they are important at the end of the day. And I just added what you said. So in the future show, I'm gonna bring that back up about having children because I think that is important. But I'm gonna say at this particular point, based on what I'm seeing in the chat, because again, y'all, this ain't just about me. But based on what I'm seeing in the chat, I'm going. It seems to me we agree on this thing about accepting our community as black men that are respectable, productive, and functional men who believe in black men's leadership, our wives, our children that live in our homes. It seems to me that y'all are approving this, okay? It seems to me that y'all are approving this because I don't see anybody saying no to this in any kind of way whatsoever. So I'm going to say, okay, this is approved. All right? Because I see nobody fight against it. All right? I ain't see one person say something about that. Now, y'all keep in mind, this has to still mean something when it's your child that you need to kind of bring back to the community. You might have your kid in the community at first because maybe the child was raised in your home, or you may have a child that wasn't raised in your home who's never truly been part of our community. And of course, you're going to want to bring your kid in, but you're going to have to remember, you're going to have to get them to kind of lay into this or buy into this, I should say, in order to truly be part of our community. And I want y'all to actually write this down, or like I said, put in your phones or something. Keep this as a manual that we're going to build over time that we believe is going to be good for us as black men. Okay, this is a manual for us to build over time. Now, if you're going to go back and listen to the show and then write all this stuff down, that's cool. You're gonna put it in your phone as we go over this, or however you want to do it. But I'm saying, y'all, this should be known stuff. Because when you're talking to your son, if you're talking to your nephew, if you're talking to maybe some classroom students, depending upon what you teach, and when you're talking to men on your job, when you're talking to men at your church, men at the community center, however you are dealing with men, this is something that we need to spread around to black men so we can be good. Point blank, period. And we can be able to identify when we're not good, and people that are not seen as us can understand how to become us. We need to have something laid out so they'll know what they need to do to become one of us. We ain't trying to keep people out, but we got to let them know how to get in. Okay. Another thing that I've talked about in the past. So I'm moving on to the next one, y'all. So number 2, have all newborn babies take paternity tests before you sign The birth certificate.
Oh, we're approving that. We ain't even asking the audience. That's
Yeah,
that. You on to number three.
yeah, that shit is like saying is the sky blue. Come on, man. Come
Yeah,
on.
we gonna
What?
we gonna go straight to number three. Y'all write that down. We going.
That shit is like
Well,
saying is the sky blue. Absolutely.
I did say this ain't just about me, y'all. This is something that hopefully black
No,
men as a whole can really start being serious
no,
about.
I have to respectfully disagree. We black men in America are under siege. Some things you have to do even if you don't want to, and this is one of those things.
All right. So y'all, the audience, I'm giving y'all a chance. Does anybody know us have an issue with this? Does anybody in the audience got an issue with, again, have all, see, I ain't saying, pull your 17-year-old and take him. That's up to y'all. Okay. All right. But we talking about newborns, y'all. Have all newborn babies take paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate.
Well, see, now we got a problem. Now because wilderness, see, because we're offset from y'all. We agree, but all your children over here, even if they are 35, still get that nigga check.
No. I totally understand why some guys are gonna do that, but I'm not even trying to make that a rule because people that build relationships. But I do think if we make it a rule that all the newborn, that's to avoid people talking about I ain't gonna necessarily blow the family up. So I'm not gonna even make that an issue. Now, if you want to test the kids that are older, that's on you. But I'm saying all the newborns, man, all of them, every single one of them.
Blow it up. Fuck that. Blow it up, Roger. Blow
Well, I'm not. If people want to do that as their personal choice, that's fine. It's not a part of what I put that on as a rule that we can follow. I'm only asking, are we cool with following that all newborn babies be checked before we sign that birth certificate?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Here, Roger. Also, you have to give some of these men a way to talk about this thing with their significant others who they have these children with, because these men are afraid to talk to these women because these women are going to say, "Oh, you don't trust me," and all this other kind of stuff. And guys are afraid of that kind of stuff. It's real simple. Before you even truly get involved with a woman, before she get pregnant and all this other stuff, you just tell her, say, hey, we gonna do this thing. If you end up pregnant, I'm gonna have my children. I'm gonna have my children tested. And this ain't even about you. This is about my son later on down the line, where I can tell him, hey son, I had you tested. That's the rule in this family. And it'll go on, it'll roll on after that. So you don't even make it about her. Hey, before me and you even get started, if you get pregnant and you come tell me you pregnant by me, paternity test. So we ain't got to get in this argument later.
Well, I'm agree with you. We've actually had shows about this in the past, but unfortunately, I lost so many channels and I get it. They don't want channels like Mine and Survive because we actually say that when you first start meeting women, when you doing those initial contacts, initial date, you let women know from Jump Street. This is just a policy. We got to make it where women understand if they deal with black men, they're going to be expected to have a paternity. It should just be something they expect. But we got to start pushing it for them to get to the point where they just start expecting.
Listen. This needs to be so tight that when you see foreigners go to the hospital, they ask, "Oh, do you need a translator, sir?" Whenever they see a nigga in the living room, here's the paternity test, sir. Here's the kid. Swab away. That just like they ask, you don't have to ask them for their interpreter. They ask you, do you need it? So as soon as they see you, here's the kit, sir. Here's the kit.
Yeah. I agree.
Otherwise, it would be offensive.
Now, I've given people time to say something. Ain't nobody said anything. So I'm gonna take this that we are approving this. This is the second approval. Okay, I didn't see anybody say anything against it. So this seems to be a second approval. So shout out to y'all. We got two things that went across. And I thought this might be a little bit of a fight, especially on that first one. I thought it was gonna be a little bit of a fight. Okay.
Roger, please put in there Section B for niggas in the wilderness. All children must be made straight and blow it up. That's Section A. All right. I'll kill with newborns. For niggas in the wilderness, Section B, blow that shit up.
Hey, note, duly noted.
Right?
Duly noted.
I'm on my shit, so we definitely all the niggas in the wilderness and Philadelphia niggas also. We need to do that because we ain't doing that Will Smith shit no more.
You matter of fact, I'm gonna do this.
Section C.
I'm putting this down to bring this back up in the future show too.
Because we blow families up. Because you know what? Because it ain't our fault that the family got blown up. It's her fault.
Hey, no, it don't bother me. I know there was some men who said something about they don't want to, dip and dap into certain things or whatever the case is. So I mean, I'm just respecting what men said. I ain't had no kids, so it ain't an issue for me at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind getting tested. I've been trying true on that one. You know what I'm saying? I tell every chick, I don't mind getting tested. I don't care nothing about what you're talking about.
You know what?
You feel any way you want to.
You know what? Section C. My grandkids gotta get tested if they want some money when I die. They gotta get tested too. Shit.
Hey, that is your money, so it makes sense to me. That's all I'm gonna say. All right. Shout out to Compassion Cat. He said every black child not born on U.S. soil must be DNA tested. Hey man, I'm not telling y'all. I ain't say nothing about where they was born. That's all I'm gonna leave that right. I don't care where they born. That don't mean nothing to me. All my kids got to get tested.
I'm gonna tell you, be careful in France, though. Just be careful in France. Yeah. They put niggas in jail for even making the comment of DNA testing.
Yeah, France just told me don't mess with no chicks in France. That's all they told me.
Same thing in Israel. No. What is it? There's a couple places: France, Sweden, Jamaica. Right, Jamaica is illegal to do DNA testing there too. Yeah, man, shit is real.
Yeah. Now my thing is, France better not put me in a tough decision. I get out there and some chick say I done got her pregnant. And I need my baby test. No, you can't do that in this country. You're in America. We don't allow that here. All right, well, I'm gone. Yep. I don't know what to tell you. I gotta rotate. You know what I'm saying? When she get to America, we get that kid tested. But I don't know what to tell you. You know what I'm saying? I gotta roll. Cause y'all playing games that I ain't even finna play.
And grandkids too, because if my son be a simp and I find out that little bastard ain't my grandkid, nobody's getting Will. Nobody's getting Will money. Well, my son ain't getting the house either.
No, but this is the thing, bro. That's already taken care of, because if he's gonna be a part of our community, this is one of the things he has to do. We're saying, if you are going to be part of the quote unquote better black men, these are the things that we are doing. These are personal policies that the government cannot stop us from doing.
Yep.
Okay? Because one of black men's biggest things that we're going to have to deal with, and probably for hundreds of years in the future, should the world stay existing as it is getting around the government. Because the government is anti-us, and we're going to have to accept that at some point.
I gotta get a T-shirt made that says, "I don't care about the child until I know it's my child."
Yep, the hospital, like when we bring in like the flowers and the balloons, the hospital be like, okay, who's the father, who's the granddaddy? Here's both y'all kids, because I need a double blind backup of my kid.
All right. Well,
I'm getting that T-shirt made. I'm coming to the paternity room with it. I don't care about the child until I know it's my child. Let's do this.
I'm with you all day there. That's a hilarious shirt. They think it'll catch on though. Shout out to Black Uru Strikes. Appreciate the super chat, my brother. Black Uru Strike says, ask women at the start of dealing with them, what do you think of DNA testing prior to determining paternity of all kids? If she expresses anything other than wholehearted agreement, dump her. I'm going to say that's a fantastic suggestion, y'all. And when you start off with a woman and you really consider her to be somebody to you, if she can't agree with you about your children, because that's basically what she's saying, I don't agree that you should have your children tested. I mean, that sounds like you need to leave. So I'm with Black Rule 100%, man. Why even play with a fire like that? You know, some folks play in fire, but then other folks get burned. And as I've said about other things, y'all, it's no big deal till it's a big deal. Keep playing with these women. Yeah, it's no big deal that she lying about who the kid's father is until you find out that you the nigga that was paying for some kid who's now 12 years old and it wasn't yours. It's no big deal until it's a big deal. All right. Now we have another person coming. We're gonna call him FDK, y'all. Remember, y'all, one of the rules of the show is keeping cursing to a minimum. Now he coming up here with a curse word in his name. So we just gonna call him FDK. I don't know what you got against the kids. I don't know what you got against the kids, but go ahead, FDK.
Hey, happy Thursday, Roger.
Happy Thursday.
You see? We're talking about contracts. Can we also talk about NDAs? Yeah. If you're an important man, you're gonna have to sign NDAs with these broads, man. And when I say NDAs, I'm not talking about just NDAs for your side chick. I'm talking about NDAs for your wife. You know what I mean? Put your wife on an NDA because I'm tired of seeing these wives tarnishing their husband's reputation after they done taking them to the divorce court. No, she got paid, and then now it's time for her to make a bag off of his name, and by lying
That's a
and
good one.
slandering his name. Yeah,
That's a good one.
put your wife on an NDA. Okay.
All right. Now I'm putting that in for something to bring up in a future show because I mean that's a decent suggestion if you ask me. It's a very decent suggestion. All right, but y'all, all that stuff I'm putting for future shows. Future shows. All right. And I'm gonna take it that we have an approval of the first two because again, y'all, I don't see anybody disagreeing with the first two. All right, I don't see anybody. And if y'all come later on, if you're not at the live broadcast and you like, well, I was in the class, so I didn't have a chance to disagree. I'm gonna remind y'all what Roger done said plenty of times. Life ain't fair. If you wasn't here to disagree, that's on you. I can't control all that. That's on you. And, you know, it is what it is. But y'all, I'm trying to do this so we can make even small pamphlets for men to get on a regular basis so they understand this is what we identify as being a better black man. These are things we're going to do, regardless of what people feel about it. This is what we want as better black men. And this nigga Compassion Cat is taking down what I had up to put up what it. Man, I'm gonna get to you, brother. I got to read the super chat though, my man. I got to read the super chat.
Man, Compassion, don't tell you how to do your job.
No, I got you, but I got to read the super chat, my brother. Got to read the super chat. You know what I'm saying? And so here he coming up, y'all. He's joining the show, but I got to read the super chat, my brother. Shout out to No Placeholder. He says Jamaica has mandatory DNA testing. Hot sauce.
I need to reply. That is not true. No, it does not. Debate over mandatory DNA paternity testing in Jamaica. There's an ongoing public debate whether DNA paternity test birth should be mandatory, according to the Jamaica Observer 2025. Clinics and commentators warn against making DNA tests compulsory at birth, arguing that the country is not ready for the state mandatory testing and raise concerns that it could contribute to gender-based violence and other social issues. This is Jamaican Observer 2025. They do not have it, and what I said still stands. They don't. The clinicians and politicians say it's not a good idea.
Damn, he was ready for you this time. No placeholder, boy. No placeholder gonna be calling you all kind of rise clots and blood clots and former clots.
All right, and I'm gonna say this, y'all. And I'll probably do it again. Another show on why I don't even agree with DNA, mandatory DNA testing. That's giving the government way too much power, if you ask me. But now, Compassion College is here. We gonna get his comments in because he here and he know how to light his own stuff up. So he said, Raj, what conduct can get a current member of the black masculinist in group to do to be removed from the group? I'm gonna say, man, if at any point that you're not participating in what we establish is the rules we should follow, that automatically put you out. You know? But we can come up with some other rules in the future about these are particular no-nos, y'all. Again, y'all, this is not me trying to build Rome in the day. I have certain things that I've thought about to bring to the table. As people give more suggestions, we will add them to future shows so we can add some of that to future shows. But again, y'all, I understand it's a little bit of trouble. At some point, y'all gonna have to make a suggestion in the comment section about a particular show and give your suggestion so I can actually track all this stuff the way y'all want track. See, and see, if y'all don't do that, don't look at me and be like, oh, Raj, you never said anything about this. Don't tell me I forgot. No, you forgot to put it in the comment section. You forgot. That's why I wasn't mentioned. Again, I read the comments almost every day. I ain't gonna say I read it every single day, but I do get to the comments almost every day. So if you didn't put it there, that's on you. It ain't my fault. And Compassion Kaz, I think that was you gave some great suggestions. So he just dropped back into the back. So I guess he ain't ready to get up here and talk. But that's a great suggestion about some things that a person can do to get thrown out the group. I'll definitely consider that for future shows because there's a couple things that pop up to mind right now. But again, y'all, okay, I don't see anybody rejecting what's being said. So far, we got accepted our community as black men that are respectable, productive, functional men who believe in black men's leadership, our wives and children that live in our homes. Okay. Second one that's been approved, have all newborn babies take paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. Rule number 3, y'all, and remember, y'all, this is for 18 to 64 because the retirement age is like 65, and we should be making sure that we have the ability to retire at 65. Take that on as a personal responsibility. The government may have something for you, it may not. Make sure you put yourself in a position where you can retire at 65. I ain't saying you have to. Just make sure you have the ability to be able to retire at 65 if that's what you choose to do. Some of y'all are going to be successful enough to decide to retire early. Well, if you retired at 50, we ain't got to worry about 65, do we? Okay? So just make sure if you're 18 to 64, these are the things that we're putting in place. All right. This next one should be a no-brainer as well, y'all. Okay. Let me say this real quick. Shout out to Compassion College. He said it's 67 now if you're born after 1960. It's 67 if we let it be. I'm gonna say that. It's 67 if we let it be. So I'm gonna say 65. Now, are you gonna suggest that we should take it up to 67? Because you don't have to work past anything as long as you can afford to retire.
Well, nowadays most seniors are still working because they can't afford retirement. So you're right, Raj. It's what you let it be.
And which some of these suggestions are gonna kind of deal with that too. So I'm not gonna be here and start suggesting that we continue to go to 67, especially if the average life of a black man is dead by 69. I mean, I can deal with the 65 because I done heard it so much. I ain't even gonna start thinking about no 67. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. My thing is, can you position yourself to retire early? That's what we need to work on. But some of my suggestions, you'll be able to pick up on that. That's kind of where I'm leading. I'm gonna say these are for people. What I'm saying, y'all, this is for us who are 18 to 64. Because at 65, we should be able to sit down and relax a little bit. I ain't saying you have to, but we want to make sure we can. All right. Now, again, y'all, this next one should be a no-brainer. It's complete high school diploma or GED. Now, this should be a no-brainer. And some of y'all may say, why'd you even put that in there, Roger? We got to remember, there are some of us who are raised in homes with just their mamas, and their mama don't care nothing about them. Some of us will start on a bad track at some particular point. Some of us will have a very bad experience that might be the trauma that we need to turn things around. And I'm going to tell y'all this, when it comes to trauma, if you truly have a traumatic experience, usually it makes you want to do better in life. So maybe you did start off bad. Maybe you did end up going to prison. Maybe you ain't like the fact that men was having sex with you and all you could do was take it. Maybe you didn't appreciate that. I ain't saying you got to tell everybody what you got out. But maybe you didn't like some nigga breaking you down, got you all bent over and giving you plenty of dick. Maybe that wasn't a good experience for you. So when you get out, you ain't trying to go back. It is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. So guess what? When those men want to be a part of us, we need to have rules that they understand of what the steps they need to take to be a part of us. If we can't tell them what the rules are, it's very hard to communicate what they need to start working on. So getting a high school diploma, which they may not even have, or getting a GED, which they may not have, do this. Why? Because this is going to help them, with a little bit of discipline, and it's going to help open opportunities for jobs. It's just that simple at the end of the day. And why would we have a society where we're not encouraging young men to get a high school diploma or GED? Why would we encourage them not to do that? All right. So that's why I'm putting it in there as a suggestion. Remember, the list is for 18 to 64. Shout out to Black Urban Strikes. He says the life expectancy of Black men in America is about 67.78. So that's almost 68. The Social Security program is basically legalized theft to most working Black men. You are working to leave cat food and money for old white women. And that's the game, y'all. That's the game. And I appreciate you saying that, Black Urban Strike. So again, I'm going to say this is for us between 18 to 64, because if we get on the right track, for most of us who hear this, by the time we 64, we should be able to retire. But we got to say what the right track is. And again, when we have some men who didn't get the best start in life, when they come to us, we need to be able to say, this is the track for you to be right. We got to know what the track is. Okay, it's just easy to go down the track and you know what the track is. All right, so is there anybody who's against complete high school diploma or GED? Remember, some guys may have to do this at 30, 35, 40 years old. But I think it's important that they do it. Is there anybody against this?
You got some of them women out there. School ain't for everybody.
When you're right, you're right. Well, almost when you're right, you're right. Yeah.
Now I can't believe I used to hear that as a child. School ain't for everybody. That's a lie. We all go. Some of us just fail.
And I'm gonna say shout out to Joseph Tucker, y'all, because I just like this. So I'm reading what he said because I just like this. He said, in addition to GED, must show reading and writing proficiency, y'all. Yeah, get it because you need to have it, but make sure you can read and write. Okay, y'all, make sure you can read and write. Real talk. Okay, we don't need Black men embarrassing the rest of us. Okay, we all can get better at stuff. if anybody who's been seeing me do this show, sometimes y'all be putting stuff in super chats or something in the comments. And I don't know the word. I don't fake like I know the stuff. I just say, what's this word? Or I've said, what does this mean? Because I'm not going to pretend I know everything. It's okay to always get better, y'all. Especially real talk. If you listen to Black Uru, who done told us he done made it an issue to know all kinds of words that the rest of us sometimes don't even know. Listen to Black Uru, it bring your black vocabulary game up. That's just real talk. Cause Black Uru be talking sometimes, and because he talking, I be like, okay, I get on the Google this real quick, Merriam-Webster dictionary, what this mean? Just trying to keep up with some stuff you say sometimes. Now, am I embarrassed about it? No. I just look it up because it's a good thing to know stuff. It don't matter. I don't feel bad because he knew something I didn't. And we need to get away from being that way as black men. I know we're taught to act that way. No, it's always better. It's always better if we always continue to improve ourselves. Real talk. So, yes, some reading and writing proficiency would be fantastic. And that's just real talk. Okay. Get the diploma or the GED, but definitely get your writing game up and get your reading game up. All right. Now, the next thing I suggested, y'all, was because I'm accepting that the high school diploma and GED, based on what the audience is saying, I'm taking that this has been approved. Okay, this has been approved. So we got 3 approvals. 1, accept that our community is black men that are respectable, productive, functional men who believe in black men's leadership, our wives, and our children that live in our homes. That has been approved. The next one that's been approved, have all newborn babies take paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. And I know everybody wasn't here to start the show, so I'm telling y'all stuff that's already been approved. We ain't fighting about nothing that's been approved already, y'all. We not doing that. Okay. Third one, complete high school diploma or GED. All right. And y'all remember, these are no specific orders. These are just suggestions that I start taking down or stuff I come up with myself or took from other people. It's not just about me. Okay. Next suggestion, pursue a comfortable way of earning $100,000 per year or more. I'll say that again, y'all. Pursue a comfortable way of earning $100,000 a year or more. Now, I do understand it's tricky when you say comfortable way of earning $100,000 or more. Because the first thing a lot of y'all gonna think is, how do you comfortably earn $100,000 or more? I'm not saying this is gonna be easy. Not saying
that's easy, Roger. It's easy. It's easier than we make it out to be. I'm saying it's easy for all of us. All you gotta do is get you a wife that's gonna agree with you and work with you, and y'all do it together. That's it.
Oh snap! Oh snap! You trying to be too plain? Now, y'all.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I thought this was my show for a minute. My bad. Go ahead. Go ahead, Ross.
I ain't gonna say that sound awful. I'm not gonna say that. That didn't sound awful. Okay, that did not. Okay, y'all. But I'm gonna put this up. This is something I came up a while back. Okay, this is what I call the Black Men's Financial Report Card. Do a screenshot of something, whatever you got to do, y'all. In today's time and today's money, because of course this will probably need to be adjusted over time. I don't know how long the world gonna exist. So some of this stuff will need to change a little bit over time because of things like inflation. You know, even something like this will have to change over time. But this is the Black Men's Financial Report Card, which I'm gonna get back to in a second because I see a big old super chat up in this piece, and I ain't gonna ignore that. Okay, I ain't gonna ignore that. Wait a minute. Oh, no, I got that one. I thought I left something out for a second, but I did get that one. All right. So we gonna get to the super chat. Black Rule is coming up as well. But shout out to my main man, Ryan Decipher. Appreciate you big time, my brother. He say, even though I am heavily aligned with the passport bro ideology, I still enjoy witnessing productive black men in the West making a way for themselves. This is who we have always been, whether it be domestic or overseas, putting my support on the wood. Salute. Hey, Ryan Disciple, appreciate that big time, my brothers. Appreciate that big time, my brother. And yes, I am gonna say, if you are a passport bro, if you see yourself as a passport bro, because you agree with those things, I'm in full support of you. And that's just real talk. I'm in 100% full support. It's America's fault that they lost you. That's how I see it. It's America's fault. If it's the same way black women complain about men going out, hey, you were supposed to make sure he didn't leave. America should have made sure black men didn't. We done did so much for America. If they're too stupid to make us want to stick around, that's on America. That ain't on the men. We got to be realistic about stuff. That's on America, not the men. So shout out to Ryan Disciple. Appreciate you big time, my brother. So I'm going to always say I'm at full support. If America didn't do a good enough job to keep you here, that's America's fault. And I'm not going to act like it's somebody else's fault. And that's just real talk. And shout out to Landon. He says facts. 50K plus 50K equal 100K. And I'm going to tell y'all this too. Okay. As I've done some reading over the years, and I was looking into how to become a multimillionaire. Okay, I've read books. I came across a gentleman that put some reports in his book about the things he studied. What is the commonality of multimillionaires? A common thing amongst multimillionaires, between him and his wife, as a couple, they bring in $100,000 a year or more. I'm going to say that again, y'all. A commonality amongst multimillionaires is that between him and his wife, they bring in $100K or more, and I'm talking about per year. So if you pursue making at least $100,000 a year yourself as a black man, whether you get married or not, I'm going to say, I ain't saying it's bad to have the wife with you when you do it, but some of us may end up doing it without the wife. But we should be looking at our income and saying, is the 100,000 or bust? We got to get over that 100,000. And this is an elite number. I'm not going to even pretend it's not an elite number. But should we pursue less than elite, or should we pursue elite or better? That's the question. Should we pursue less than elite or pursue elite or better? And I'm not saying at 18 you got to make six figures. I'm saying whatever you're doing in your life, find a comfortable way for you to do it. God gave everybody a gift to make us rich. Find your gift. If you don't believe in God, use something else as a motivation. Okay? I don't care what you use as a motivation, but motivate yourself where 100 plus per year, which is an elite number, is something that you can put on your table and go for it. Because why not? Because I'm going to say, if you make $30,000 a year, and I've said this multiple times, I'm going to say it in the future. I'm pretty sure I'm going to say this in the future. If you make $30,000 a year and you start pursuing 100 a year and you end up at $60K a year, I don't think you're going to be mad. That's real talk. So I don't care if you a guy starting off and your first job is at KFC, McDonald's or something, some little fast food joint. Just make a plan. Time in years, a little time in front of you, a little opportunity in front of you, you can get there. Just keep making a plan to do better the next year, better the next year. My life has definitely improved when I decided. And I've said this before, and I'm gonna give you the mic real quick, Black Rule. When I ended up in a coma, y'all, okay, and I had to readjust some things because I was out. Okay, I had to readjust some things. But when I started looking I got some report from the government. They sent it to my house. They gave me a report about the money I've made over time. And I saw a year where I think, if my memory is correct, I think in that whole year, I only made $2,900. I said, from this point forward, every year I live, I'm going to make sure I make more money in one year than I did in the last year. And my life been improving greatly ever since I decided that's just an issue for me. I want to make sure every year I make more than the last. I didn't shoot up to no 100K. I did not do that. But life been steady getting better. But that's because I made a decision. I didn't have to be where I am. I didn't have to stay where I'm at. And none of us do. And I know some older folks, y'all, some of y'all already done hit that already. And shout out to each and every one of y'all. But again, y'all, this is stuff we need to have as a manual for Black men who are trying to join us. These are the things you need to do. Figure out what your gift is. There's something each of us got where we can make this type of money. We just got to figure out what it is. If you find your purpose, you'll probably find the money. That's real talk. And shout out to my main man, Floyd Thompson, who also dropping 100. It's a good day today, y'all. Good day today. Appreciate it. He says, mandatory continuous lifelong financial education, a passport, and at least one family trust. Hashtag long live habitual line steppers. Hashtag Hail Hydra. Hashtag we are the world's superheroes. Hashtag best leader husbands. Hey, shout out to you, Floyd. I think this is fantastic. I'm going to add this to the list now as well. Okay, I'm going to add this to the list as well. Mandatory continuous lifelong financial education, a passport, and at least one family trust. So I'm going to put this to add to a future show, Floyd. Everything y'all suggested, I'm going to get in a future show. And again, y'all, anything y'all suggest, if it's about this, just simply put in policies for better Black men and then give your suggestion and leave it in a comment after any particular stream. Same thing for any ruthless nice guys y'all believe deserve to get that award. Same thing for anybody y'all believe should be honored as a grand finale. Is there anyone who's passed away and you believe they should be honored? Just put that stuff in the comment section. I read the comment sections almost every day. I will get it and I will add it. Okay. I'm gonna get back to the financial report card in a minute because I'm gonna let Black Rule get his opening statement in. And Black Rule, you have elder privilege, so of course you have a 3-minute opening statement that you may use. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Roger. I hope you and the other gentlemen on the panel and the folks in the public chat are doing well. You know, the 100,000, that's an interesting number. That's a very popular number. You know, it looks big. You know, you got, one and then 00, then comma, then 000. And so for a lot of people, it looks like a big number. And of course, since a relatively small fraction of Americans earn that much in a year, it seems like a big deal. I'm not going to dispute, whether you should push for earning $100,000 a year. I would, however, caution or include the cat. For me, and this is just the benefit of time and have at times earned fair amounts of money. For me, what you learn over time is less important what the gross amount of money you earn in a year, and really more important what you earn hourly or what you earn in a day. Because, earning $100,000 at 40 hours a week is a very different lifestyle than earning $100,000 working 60 hours a week. That's a very different lifestyle, different quality of life, different impact on family and health. I mentioned earlier that the life expectancy of Black men is abysmal. I mean, when last I checked a while back, I'm in my opening statement, so I won't go too much further. I'll just say that to me, what you earn on an hourly or daily basis is more important and more relevant than what you might earn in a year, because the cost of earning $100,000 in a year may be too great, or it may not necessarily be cost beneficial to you, considering all the effort and time you might have to utilize in order to get there.
Okay. All right. Now, since you made that opening statement, I'm gonna read this again because you may be shooting this down, and if that happens, that happens, y'all. Because remember, this ain't just about me. Now, I did say pursue a comfortable way of earning 100K or more per year. This is to pursue a comfortable way because I think what you're saying is very important. We got to consider what's going on in our personal lives. Do I have a wife? Do I have children? How old are my children? Okay, what is my life pursuit? What is my particular mission? All this stuff matters. That's why I say a comfortable way of earning that money. If you can figure out, and my personal belief is God gives everybody a mission. I'm never gonna say deny your mission from God so you can chase some money. I ain't doing no. Figure out what it is that you need to do, and then do that. And I believe the money may come if you figure out what you're supposed to be doing. Okay, so I'm saying, yeah, it's supposed to be there. It's something I'm supposed to, see if I can figure out how to make this work without destroying myself and my family. Because ain't no point in destroying you. Why have money if you're about to die? It's just that simple to me. Why have money if you're about to die? Because that don't make no sense to me either. And if you can't enjoy none of it,
if I were to make and this will be indirect, but hopefully you'll appreciate the point I'm making. If I were to recommend to a young man, 16, 17-year-old coming up, I would recommend that he take some independent from a school and from that whole thing, the school thing, just personal or whatever. I would recommend that he takes some aptitude tests and some sort of attitude psychological tests. Get a real profile of who and what you are, what your real interests are, what your real temperament is. What there are different personality types. Are you more the overt leader type? Are you more introverted? Are you more of a planner versus more of a sort of operational person? I get a profile of myself, and then I would tailor my business interests, I would earnestly tailor my business interests, my career interests, investment interests, etc., around what my actual profile is. Because I think if you do that, you're more likely to optimize your investment in those activities and thus more likely to optimize your return on investment. I think too many of us, we say go after the money and we're doing it trying to do things that don't necessarily fit us, don't necessarily. And so because they don't necessarily fit us, we're not performing optimally in those areas and thus are not reaping the optimal benefit from it. So if I were to make a recommendation, again, the $100,000 is fine. It gives you a clear-cut goal to pursue. I think, though, what will be the problem for many of us, and this is just my observation of people over time and whatever, people pursuing money and whatever, more times than not, they fail because they become involved in things or overinvested in things that do not necessarily optimize their own talent and skill set. That's my and so so then they end up having to work longer hours to get to that $100,000 because they're doing all kinds of stuff, scrambling, doing all kinds of stuff, and they're making the money, but the cost of it and the toll on them is too great, in my view. And this is something I've especially have observed of black men. I think black men in particular, because as the labor statistics say, black men work more hours than any other demographic of Americans. We're the hardest working people. When we're working, you know, but we're not necessarily always optimizing our time while we're working.
Okay. And I'm gonna acknowledge my main man. Who's this? Shamari Archie? Is that how we? I believe that's how I'm pronouncing this. I believe this is like two names put together. Shamari Archie. I believe this is okay. And if I'm just getting your name wrong, I apologize. No disrespect, of course. No disrespect. He said, "Here's a rule: don't become a stepdad. Create your own family." Hashtag better black men. And I've already tracked that. We will do that one also in the future show, y'all. Everything that y'all suggest is gonna be for a future show. Because again, y'all, I don't have to do all the work. And again, it ain't just about me. It's about what we can agree on as black men. And I definitely believe we're gonna end up putting this stuff in some kind of manual so we can give this to young men. So when they're becoming adults, they'll already have the ideal of the things that we need to do. And like I said, we will add to these different things over time. We will add to these things over time. So these suggestions, I am tracking all of this stuff to suggest. Now, because of what you're saying, Black Uru, and guess what? If you're on the panel, you're going to hold a little bit more weight than just people in the audience. If you're giving super chats, you're going to have more weight than people who are not. Because again, y'all, life ain't fair. It is what it is. All right. So, now, do we need to change this, Black?
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Hold on. I just want to ask if you just maybe Compassion. I don't know if it was Compassionate or Red Pill did the image here backdrop. Is it just a coincidence that all the women are wearing red dresses? I'm looking at them like, wow, and it's like everybody's wearing a red dress and pretty much have the same or very similar hairstyle. So I don't, maybe that's a millennial or a zillennial look, I guess.
Right. Well, I'm gonna say on this one, and I ain't trying to throw him under the bus. This ain't had nothing to do with me. I'm gonna say that, y'all. And I'm gonna apologize because I did not get to him before he started the show, kind of what the theme of the show was gonna be today. I did not get that information to him, so that was my fault. He asked for it, and somehow I forgot to ever send him what these shows, what I was gonna be driving in the particular show. So any issues with that, that's on me at the end of the day, because I never clarified it for him. So that was my fault.
Ain't no hate. Ain't no hate, because there's a couple of killers on this image here. That one on the right, man. That one on the right look like she can get the job done, cuz. So ain't no hate.
Yeah, I try to let him kind of know what's going on, what the show's gonna be about, y'all. But I personally did not. He asked for it too, so it definitely ain't on him. He did ask me for it, and I never responded to that, and I didn't even realize that till we was on air. That I don't know what happened to me on that one, but I make mistakes too sometimes, y'all. I make mistakes too, so that's just real talk. Now, there was also a couple other super chats. Shout out to Afro Merchant. He said, respect elders, stay strapped, and support black men media. These will also be brought up on the future show, y'all, because I'm actually writing these suggestions down. Okay, I'm tracking. Well, I'm putting them in the phone. I'm putting all these suggestions down. Real talk. So I'm going to bring them all up in future shows. Shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast, who also says, get into the asset class ASAP. Well, you know what? Inspired Truth Broadcast, there's something coming up that's going to really get into that as well. So that's going to be addressed today. Real talk. So now I got to get a clarification. Oh, go ahead. Whoever's.
I want to speak to what Inspired Truth just said. I think it's advisable. It's something we were talking about before, that a man should purchase his first home
brother,
before he gets married.
Because like I just said, that's actually
told me
I already got that on the list. I already got that on the list. That's about to come up. That's already on the list. You know,
you got that from me. You got that from me. Don't act like that. You just wrote that down.
Hold on now.
You say that's a good idea, and you just wrote that down. Now you trying to claim it. Come on, man.
Hold on. Are we trying to say Roger's so stupid that he been around men who give good ideas and he don't take it serious? Is that what we trying to say?
No, I'm saying Roger's so smart. He just took a good idea from a smart man.
That's
That's
what
what I'm
I'm
saying.
supposed to do. That's what I'm
No,
supposed to
okay,
do.
okay, it's your idea. It's your idea. It's your idea.
No,
Go
no,
ahead.
I'm not saying any of I'm not saying any of these are my idea. I have not said any one of these particular things are my. I said, yeah, I came up with some stuff and I got some suggestions from other people. That's what I said. I don't care what ideas come from. I just care if they're good. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to come up with everything. Y'all trying to
Why
get
you
me
fight?
killed now. See, now you trying to get me killed. Oh, Roger come up with all the good ideas. Let's kill that
Right,
nigga.
Guru?
No,
Why you
no.
fight? Why he fighting me, Black Guru? Why you fighting me? What's going on here?
Yeah. I don't know. I think you feel some type of way. And I'm just trying to make sure we good. uh, but now I gotta say this to get clarification because I don't want to add this if it's not truly approved. So, Black Rule, I said pursue a comfortable way, and I did that deliberately. A comfortable way of earning 100K or plus per year, because I understand I don't want a man to take such a toll on his health or his family lifestyle that he misses the mark in other situations because he's pursuing the 100K per year. So is this approved, or since you're on the panel, are we disapproving this and we can come
Well,
back to it in the later show?
here. Well, look, I guess, and I would kind of have to look at it sort of a little bit more holistically than the money, because to me, health is wealth. And so if you're getting your regular, testing done, and your vitals are good, your blood pressure is normal, your sugar levels, and you are in good health and good vitality, and you are working 50 plus hours a week, then that may be fine. You may be fine. But if you're working 50 hours a week, but those things are not being taken care of, then that's a whole different thing. So even like comfortably, I focus more on health. Like, is what I'm doing mentally or physically, mentally, and emotionally healthy for me? If it's all three of those things, along with the pursuit of $100,000 a year and appreciable assets and financial management and good tax guidance and planning and stuff like that. I mean, to me, from a financial standpoint, it would be just as important for you to put on retainer, an attorney, and a CPA. I think, and I say that because while you can become astute at financial management and those sorts of things and legal issues, it's going to be over time better for you to rely on an experienced professional who is doing the work every day, is becoming acquainted with the changes in the tax laws and the statutory laws every day. If you're not a professional in those areas, you're still going to be at a disadvantage over time, especially because things are going to change.
Okay. So then what I'm gonna say, y'all, based on what Black Rule just said, I'm gonna say let's hold off on this one. Make sure we can, put it together better first, and then we can represent this on a future show. Because I do believe the 100,000 is an important number. Because again, y'all, that was the number that was researched, and that's how people became multimillionaires. That was a common thing. I'm not saying you earn 100,000 and then you're going to become a millionaire. That is not what I'm saying. I'm saying, the research has shown that the people who do become multimillionaires make at least 100,000 per year. That's two different things. And shout out to no guarantees. He said there doesn't appear to be any quote unquote comfortable paths to wealth. Sorry, Mr. Roger Report. Hey, y'all. Remember, this ain't just about me. This is about what we can give to people, black men in mass. It's about what's going
Well,
to work for black men
well,
in
again,
mass.
that's why I said comfortable. Like, I remember, for example, Oprah Winfrey saying that she only sleeps like 4 hours a day. And I've heard that said about that a lot of very successful people almost never sleep more than 6 hours a day. Now, they may nap during certain parts of the day, or when time is permitting, power naps. You may have heard that kind of term before. But many of them don't, because of how their minds work and all the things going on. I mean, we saw how Obama aged, sort of physically. As president, he probably barely slept 3 hours straight through a given night as president. So comfortable for successful people, that to some degree, as no placeholder says, it can be a little bit oxymoronic, because a lot of times in between having to be able to, something comes up and I got to go get on a plane and go somewhere. The lives of very successful people who earn a lot, people who are engaged in building and whatever, can get very chaotic and not necessarily, quote, comfortable in the ways in which we might define what comfortable means. That's why I said before, if you know you're on solid ground, physically, mentally, and emotionally, I don't know how comfortable it might be, but if those things check out, then at least you're less likely to be on a path that over time is going to compromise you in some way. But that means you're going to have to regularly. I think you should see a doctor several times. Get checkups several times a year. Of course, your dental, your vision. You rich people spend a lot of time with doctors. They spend a lot of time with doctors.
I think that's a good way to say it. That's a great way to say it. All right, so y'all, at least for now, we're scratching that one off the list because it's not being accepted. You know what I'm saying, comfortably. But I'm gonna give no placeholder his 2-minute opening statement so he can do his thing, and then we'll get to some more. Okay, but for right now, we're gonna hold off on that one, because again, anything can be retooled and presented better where we can comfortably agree with what's being suggested. Because this is for the mass of black men, all black men who are regular, healthy men who are between the ages of 18 and 64. This is for all of us. Okay, that means the 22-year-old too. That means the 45-year-old. That means the 52-year-old guy. It's for all of us who are 18 to 64 and we're regular, everyday people. Okay, no placeholder though. You have the floor. How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing well. Yes, to apologize to hot sauce. Actually, yeah, I didn't realize I was still in debate. I thought they already passed that law. Um, but yeah, but yes. So regarding the mandatory paternity, and the second thing I was going to say, another suggestion was you have to focus on overall health as a black man. Black who kind of went into the nitty gritty of that, but I do want that to be one of the policies of like maintaining good overall health, which is a combination, like you mentioned, vision, dental, and physical in terms of medical, dental, and vision. And psychological. As a matter of fact, what you just mentioned about the screening is something that I've said encompass pretty much the point I wanted to add to the policy. But to but to debate the whole 100,000 thing or the striving towards it comfortably, I can say that I agree with Black Guru about the idea of how much you generate per day, or basically in the way you're going about it. Because for example, as a junior engineer, I was making maybe 1/5 of what I was making right now. I'm saying so it's like, and but while I was a junior engineer, the company I was with offered 100% matching for my 401k, and literally for 4 years at that company, I maxed out my 401k. It is the most I've ever put in my 401k. I'm saying I make 5 times as much as I did now, but I have a wife. You know what I'm saying I have 3 children. You know what I'm saying, so you understand what I'm talking about. College fund for all 3 children. You know what I'm saying life insurance policy for all 3 children. You know what I'm saying for like I'm saying, you get what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah. So like I, you know what I'm saying. It's there's pros and cons, like Black we were saying about the whole thing. When you get to a certain point, there's a lot of things you're gonna have to sacrifice to basically to maintain that. Final example, I was actually traveling, like we mentioned, and I got stuck in a snowstorm. and I left my wife with a couple of kids, and she was not very happy about that. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of those scenarios where they're saying making a lot of money didn't benefit her that much, and she didn't seem that to be happy about it. You know what I'm saying? So there's always pros and cons to this level of comfort and making and generating income. But yeah, I land there.
Well, I think both y'all have said some very wise things about that. So again, y'all, we gonna scratch that from the list from now. This is so we can retool things, maybe present it better, or maybe present a different number. Whatever we got to do to make it good for the mass of black men. Shout out to G.I. Pitt. He says most don't have health insurance, and y'all know in America, health insurance is important. So if you don't have it, you need to do some thinking about how to get some, okay? Because they ain't nothing cheap in the medical field. I'm just gonna tell you that now. Ain't nothing cheap in the medical field. You don't want to be in a situation where you end up paying for it yourself. I had to pay for a couple things, and it wasn't cute. I'm gonna tell you that. Ain't nothing cheap in the medical field. I don't care what you're talking about. It ain't cheap. Okay, it is what it is. So we definitely gonna scratch that one for now. Because again, y'all, this ain't just about me. This is about us as black men. All right. So I'm gonna move on to the next thing. Have women sign a prenuptial agreement before you get married. Now, again, y'all, this is not saying you have to get married. It is saying for the men who are going to get married that you have her sign a prenuptial agreement. Okay. Now, to me, I get this ain't just gonna be common sense for everybody. Okay. There's a lot of guys who are brought up and they hear things that women say, and they do believe that having a woman sign a prenuptial agreement is something about not trusting her. And I understand why women take that they use that because it's about their interest at the end of the day. Now I'm gonna say this, baby, you take it any way you want. I'm doing this to protect me. Okay, that's what it comes out to at the end of the day. I'm doing this to protect me. Now, if that means I trust you, cool. If that means I don't trust you, cool. I don't care how you really take that. I'm doing this to protect me. And that's just what it is. And anybody who don't want me to protect me, I don't think they like me. I'm gonna just tell y'all, that's just a straight up truth to me. Anybody who don't want me to protect me, I don't think they like me. That's how I read into this stuff. Anyone want to comment on that?
I think that's a solid thought.
Yeah, I mean, I on that, because there's a lot of this prenup stuff. Get a prenup, get a prenup, get a prenup. No, hire an attorney. Hire an attorney and let him or her handle that. The rules differ in every state. The judges differ in every state, and no matter what you put on that agreement, it's going to be subject to some interpretation of a judge. And those attorneys are going to know the judges that are going to have jurisdiction over that agreement upon a possible dissolution of a marriage. It's not going to be the same in Georgia as it is in Illinois. Certainly not going to be the same as Illinois as it is in Florida. Certainly not going to be the same in Florida to California. I would say hire an attorney to do a prenup. That's how I would make that recommendation. I
agree.
Think there's too much of this talk about prenups without talking about attorneys. I don't have a problem with the prenup. It's definitely a good idea, but I think there's this kind of, I'm just going to pull some off the internet or whatever, and it's going to cover my ass. And judges put aside terms and look, when Dr. Dre can have his prenup put aside, Negro, what that says to me is you don't need to be trying to, as a layperson, do prenups. Especially if you're in California, by the way. If you're listening from California, you definitely don't want to be trying to do your own prenup in California.
Yes, and to add to Black Rule, at Black Rule's point, I also discussed at the beginning of your relationship. Let her know that essentially that if we're going to go forward, we're going to pursue prenups, and you're going to get your own attorney, and I'm going to get my own attorney. You said so that way there's no if ands about it. You said so.
And this is why it's good to have a little manual with you, because when you start dealing with women, you can pull out this manual and they can understand what they're gonna have to expect, because these are the rules you live by. And ain't nothing she can do about it, because these are your personal choices. The government can't stop you from living by these rules. And I'm gonna say too, just something I just seen last night, or maybe it was the night before. Google is a horrible lawyer, y'all.
I would think so. It's a search engine. It's a search engine, Roger.
It's a horrible lawyer, though. It's a horrible lawyer. I've seen people.
It's great if you want to lose your shit. It's great if you want to lose your shit.
And I'm saying this because I happen to be watching videos of people who went on the internet, they researched stuff or whatever the case is, and they instead of going to court with counsel, they wanted to do all the different things on their own. They was misfiling stuff.
Look, here, listen to what I'm saying. Every state has different laws. Every state. And county within every state have different judges. And judges are on totally different bullshit. Some super conservative, some super liberal, some, religious, some feminist. And so you hire an attorney because he or she, in addition to knowing what should be in that agreement, that attorney also knows the legal environment as to whether or not that agreement is going to hold up when it's presented before those judges. That's the system.
To add to your point, Black Rule, it's it does fluctuate from state to state. So if you plan to, like, how do I put it? It seems like it's difficult to go through the idea of the prenuptial. Seems like a little tedious and a little painstaking. But think of your divorce, man. Think of your divorce. The reason I'm saying it's like it's just as bad. So if you tackle it ahead of time by doing all these hard work, researching a good attorney, know where you live, all that stuff like that, it's the same thing. I'm saying you're gonna do when you get divorced.
One of the mistakes you can make if you trying to do a prenup and you don't have an attorney lead it is, there's going to be a question at some point, and especially the more money you have and the more power and status you have, the more of an issue this will. Your power, your money and your power will be used against you. The more money you have, the more power you have, that will be used against you, because what they're going to cite is coercion. That he used his money and he used his status and he used his name and his influence to intimidate me into doing this bad deal. That's why you got to have an attorney lead that shit.
And that's why I said to talk to her as well at the beginning of the relationship, because if you talk to her when you begin becoming serious,
tell her, look, in that conversation you having with her on that first date about DNA testing, you also include that conversation about prenups. To me, that's good first date conversation.
You do know you meet your wife at the altar and you meet your enemy in the courtroom. These are two different people.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, unfortunately, a lot of us meet the enemy before we get to the courtroom. we meet her in the marriage, but we don't necessarily see her, the full monster we're dealing with, until we get in that courtroom. It's like Dracula before seeing the fangs.
Yeah, and these are things that should be talked about long before it would even affect y'all. So when you're going out with women, it's great to see if y'all like each other. I'm gonna remind people it's easy to have fun with anybody, but if you ain't getting into some of these nitty-gritty conversations, I don't care how long you date a person, this stuff gonna have to be dealt with at some point if y'all gonna continue dealing with each other. So You might as well
Look,
get
you
that
could
pretty
save a
early.
lot of time. Ask her about what she think about DNA testing, and she start talking like these games be talking. Around. Why are you continuing to date her after that point? I mean, what are
Yeah.
you talking about? She has basically told you she don't support DNA testing. What are you doing with her after she's already said that, or she squawked at getting a prenup? What are you talking about with her on that next date? What for?
Talk
What
about talk about taking care of that other nigga, baby.
Might as
exactly?
well be talking about that. Might as well be talking about that. Real talk.
You
You know?
at that point you are dictating the terms of your surrender. After that point, you're dictating the terms of your surrender.
I again, y'all, I haven't seen anybody go against it, so I'm gonna take this as that is an approved thing. I'm taking it as it's approved by the audience. So
Yeah,
now we got 4
that's for
approvals,
sure.
y'all.
Like I say, I would just tweak it. I would emphasize the attorney aspect of it.
Okay, you know,
Because
Yeah, prenup from an
I
attorney.
don't, and
Yeah.
because like I say, I just think it's too much talk about it, and people talk about it like it's like something they can pull off the internet, and I just, I mean, you setting yourself up for failure
hey, you know what?
because you think you're getting your ass covered, and you're not. And by the way, here's the sad part about prenups. Two things that you're going to be most concerned about in a marriage. You will not cover your ass in the prenup.
Your
Sex,
Child
children
support.
sexual
and your
Child
children.
support.
availability, and your children.
Yep. You
what
can't
check
force her to have sex. Can't force her to have sex.
yeah.
Sexual
And that's why you got married,
availability
by the way.
and dominion over your children. That
Yeah.
nothing. There's no legal way you can preserve those two.
And
Mm-hmm.
don't
At
call
least
yourself
not in a
being
prenup. Not in a prenuptial agreement. Yeah.
and don't call yourself being slick trying to add it in there, because as soon as you add something that ain't going to agree with the Constitution, you've automatically voided the contract.
Void the entire thing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. So you have to
Yep.
be careful.
Yep.
And so
Which further emphasizes why you need to have an attorney handle all that.
mm-hmm.
Further
All right.
emphasizes that. Yeah.
So now I'm going to put that based on what I'm seeing, y'all. We got 4 things that have been accepted. One thing we've thrown out for now. We'll try to maybe bring it back, maybe change the number, but we only got 4 things approved so far. So we have accept that our community is black men that are respectable, productive, functional men who believe in black men's leadership, our wives and our children that live in our homes. That's one thing. We also have all newborn babies take paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. That's the second thing that has been approved. Third thing, complete high school diploma or GED. Okay. And you know, make sure you can actually read and write proficiently too now. As a caveat with that, I guess. And now have a woman sign a prenuptial agreement prepared by an attorney before you get married. Okay. Now again, that don't say you have to get married, but if you're going to get married, have an attorney prepare a prenuptial agreement. Okay, it is what it is, y'all. Um, now I don't know how y'all gonna take this one, but I'm putting it out there.
Go
Do
on and
not
skip it.
cheat.
It sounds like a bad idea.
No, it's
Go
a
on and
great
skip
idea. Do not cheat on women. If we are the better black men, we are not going to be cheating on women.
it. Is it
Now,
cheating if you're being honest?
I'm gonna say, y'all, I did not say nothing about how many women you can deal with. You can deal with 19 of them if you can afford it. If you got time, money, energy, knock yourself out. All I'm suggesting as men that we do not cheat. I do not have to deceive a woman to deal with a woman. And if I must deceive a woman to deal with the woman, I see myself as I got to present myself as somebody else in order for her to be okay. And I don't think that's good. And I would say shout out to Positive Vibes who say, now this is a female. She says, good luck with that one. What you mean? You don't want us to
I thought the women were gonna agree on that one. They gonna champion that one.
Right. You out of all people don't support that one? Is you trying to say something?
We
No,
need
she
you to
gonna
come
say
up here and
good luck.
explain yourself.
She
We need you to
no,
come
she
up
trying
here
to
and
make it
explain
seem
yourself, ma'am.
she's trying to make it seem like black men are incapable of being of fidelity. Black men are incapable of fidelity, which is
I need
trash.
I
It's
need
just the men that they deal with. The men they deal with are
uh,
incapable of fidelity.
I need her to come up here and explain that one. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I expect the amen. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, get them niggas straight. I expected all of that.
You said, no, that's not what Roger's saying. Roger's saying that you tell her to your face, I'm getting another woman, and that's that. That's what Roger's saying.
Now, I'm saying if that's how you gonna live your life, yeah, be honest about it. That's all I'm saying. I ain't saying how many women you got to deal with. I have dealt with up to as many as 3 at the same time. There are headaches that come along with dealing with multiple women too, but I'm not looking to actually be with 3 women. If I get married, I'm not pulling no Neo thing. I think Neo got like 3 or 4 of them. Like, I ain't doing, I don't care how rich I get. I ain't doing all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to have 3 or 4 wives. I'm good.
I think the best thing that most productive men will do about sex, and this is just a benefit of hindsight and perspective. The best thing that most productive married men will do in regards to sex will be to do whatever you can maintain with your wife and keep some proper hookers on the side. I think in most cases, the mistress thing, side chick thing, it's grossly overrated in most cases. The extra anxiety and the bitch going at some point try to blow up your spot, the fun ain't worth all of that. And at a certain point, you realize that you need to compartmentalize to some degree your sexual energy. And if that means you having some hooker or whatever on the side that's gonna do some wild shit, of course, protect yourself, but gonna do some wild shit that you need to get done a couple of times a month, to keep your shit on balance, so to speak. That's really your optimum approach to dealing with sex for productive men. Productive men have to be able to compartmentalize sex and intimacy. They can't be
So
too caught up in some bitches. They can't.
so you're not approving of a personal assistant when you go to the Cora Holcomb show?
Well, here's the problem with personal. If we were talking about 1980, yeah, hell yeah, because you wouldn't have no problem with her getting up under the desk, so to speak, and she was gonna keep her fucking mouth shut. But today, hell no, that should be on TikTok, man,
Yeah. And
with your
I'm gonna say
pants
this,
down somewhere.
and I'm gonna say this, y'all. Real talk. I just don't encourage cheating because I'm gonna tell you what I've always thought, and I'm gonna do a show about this again. We cheat because we're cowards. We're scared to tell that woman that I got somebody else because we so worried about how she's gonna react to it, and it creates all kinds of difficult, unnecessary situations. And yes, if a side chick starts feeling herself and she thinks that I now have a compromised man and I'm going to use his marital status to control him, and she can always threaten, I'm going to tell your wife, I'm going to blow the spot up and don't let you have no kids because the kids going to be presented that, daddy's a dog and cheated on mama. You know what I'm saying? And kids can take that a certain type of way for decades, not just a small period of time. They can take that some kind of way for decades. There's children who will never talk to their parents again because of they have been presented that daddy cheated on mama. And sometimes even in women's cases, mama cheated on daddy. Kids don't really like that, y'all. So the only way to protect your spot from being blown up, you got to remove any bombs. So guess what? You can't tell my wife nothing she don't already know. You can't tell my girlfriend something she don't already know. You can't tell my fiance something she don't already know. Now, real talk, I'm not saying anybody you deal with got to meet each other, because I didn't deal with multiple women. They knew I was dealing with other women. I ain't never have them meet each other, but everybody knew what time it was. You know, and if they ask me about another chick, I've never denied that I'm messing with another chick. And I'd be like, man, you really want some details about what I'm doing with another woman? And most of them really don't want that. So it all can be managed if that's what you're going to do. But at the end of the day, why put yourself in a situation
Well, look,
where somebody
I think,
go ahead.
with all due respect, Roger, I think you're talking about. Look, there are certain stratus of men or status of men who can make that work. You know, they have the wealth, influence, good looks, height. You know, all the popular stuff, and they might be able to make it work. Although even for most of them, it's not going to work over the long term. Eventually, the nature of those women are going to prevail. Eventually, that wife is going to renege on whatever that deal is. Eventually, that side chick is going to start doing some sabotage shit, even though she has agreed to everything, prior to that point. And this is stuff that I've actually seen happen. So, I mean, I think for the vast majority of men, that is not going to work. For the vast majority of men, or they're gonna have to be dealing with some women that of a certain grade and quality. They don't want to necessarily have to deal with some damn bugaboos or something. So again, maybe you can make that happen. Again, if you are some particularly outstanding type dude, but over time, but we see. I mean, Tom Brady got cheated on. I mean, it's an environment in which it is so feminist that there's no deal you're going to be able to make with any of them that's going to hold up over time. Not over time. And I'd like to see, though, that mass of black men who maybe some Islamic dudes, I don't know, they kind of have a different religion thing, and technically they're able to marry, several women. So I'll put religion and particularly like Islam as a caveat. Maybe they can make that work in an insular society. But I think in most cases, you're not going to be able to get the long-term trust and the integrity of the women to hold up. You're not, especially not black women.
But shout out to Compassion Kai. He say, take the poll. Look, there's nothing to poll about, brother. I did not tell black men to have multiple women. I said don't cheat. That's what I said. Now, y'all, please remember what I was suggesting. I said don't cheat. I know I can't tell a bunch of grown men how many women to deal with, and they just gonna listen to me. All I'm saying is don't cheat. If you're gonna have multiple women, just be honest about it. I didn't say you had to have multiple women. I didn't even suggest you have multiple women. I just said don't cheat. That's it. And I believe that we should be able to agree on that. And I'm looking at comments. Ain't nobody actually came out and disagreed with that. So
Roger will walk you across the burning bridge and tell you your feet ain't hot.
I reserve the right and privilege to cheat. Y'all can do whatever y'all want to do.
Thank you.
As someone who's actually been married,
Roger
because here's my view of that. I don't play straight in a crooked world.
All right, so we go.
And at a certain point, I need to be able to maneuver in the world I'm in.
All right.
And it's one thing to have 3 girlfriends for you know, 3 or 6 months or whatever, then next year y'all don't even know where each other is. There's a whole other thing being married to one particular woman for 20, 30, 40 years. It's a whole different thing.
All right. And Great Black Reset, you about to say something about that too?
Yeah, you trying to walk us across a burning bridge and tell us our feet ain't hot. That's what's happening over here, bro.
I ain't
Listen,
say the
these
cheat.
yeah these women out here out of control, bro. And when you've been married a significant amount of time, things are gonna happen, bro. Things are gonna happen, and to tell a man that the rule is you just don't cheat, no matter what. You just hang in there. No, hell no, man. It's gonna be time periods, man, where you and your wife y'all might not be on good terms for years. You might go 2 3 years where she just ain't acting right, man. You need to get your needs met. And you might can't talk to her about it. You might can't be honest with her about it because you have so much on the
That's a
line.
long
No,
time.
man.
That's a
No,
long
man.
time. So hold on, Kevin. So in the entire 2 years, you just tolerated that?
That's exactly what I'm saying, bro. Like, there's a dude. See, they like to label like men having extramarital affairs. Like we just out here just fucking everything. No, that ain't it. Sometimes this shit going on at home that you don't want to blow up your whole family for, but you're getting a need met, a psychological need or a physical need met that you need to get met, but you don't
No,
want
so
to blow your whole family up about it.
no, I understand, but Kevin, I understand what you're saying. But if you going on 2 years and your wife is not in a certain situation, brother, your family's already blown up. So at that point, you might as well just, what I'm saying, just
Yeah,
let them
yeah,
know that you're
but see,
separated.
if your
So,
children are 14, 15 years old and you just trying to get
mm,
to 18 so you can kind of
mm.
get out somewhat clean, see, there's all kind of
So
nuances to
hold on.
that. Yeah.
In that case, Roger is right. And Roger is right. Get yourself some nice porn and some lotion, and then basically wait your 4 years. You said that's it. In that case, Roger is right because you can't do both. If you get caught basically cheating, brother, it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you way more. You know what I'm saying.
Well,
That's what I'm
look,
trying to say.
look.
Like you trying to protect your children. Yeah.
If you get caught, you deal with that. But if
Right.
you want to smell, if you got it in you, that you got to smell some new pussy, go smell some new pussy.
So
Yeah, and
from the
that's just
scenario, I understand. It's like
See,
you're saying that essentially
I'm
you
not
got.
playing. Seriously though, I'm not playing this game of dick policing on dudes. You
that's
know, I'll
exactly
do
what we're
anything
saying.
for a woman. Look, I will risk my life for a woman. I would do anything for a woman. I'll try to give her anything that's within my capability of doing. But certain things I will not surrender. And I reserve the right to have some flexibility on where I apply my dick. Damn what anybody else say about it. And maybe that's part of the reason why I'm not particularly religious. Cause certain kind of shit I'm not gonna put myself in certain kind of trick bags.
Yeah.
And
Now,
sex and religion, that's a trick bag to me.
I would say
For me.
shout out to American Prince of Wales. He said, Black Reset, you're missing his point. Roger is saying that we should be upfront and honorable with multiple wives / concubines.
I
I
agree with
mean,
that, Roger.
that's true. I think whatever you're gonna do with your women, be real about it. Now,
Okay.
I do not saying I agree. I do understand his point when he just said, maybe I got you got a 15, 14-year-old and you try to make it till they get 18. Look, I understand what people are saying, y'all, and understand this ain't about me. This is about what's good for the mass of black men who are going to be 18 to 64. This is about us. So if
So
this ain't a good
Roger,
move for
I
us,
I
I
I
agree with Roger.
agree
No, I don't
with
agree with
the
Roger.
I agree with the
There are
hold on.
millions of men right now who are in sexless marriages. Now,
Yes, black people.
propose to those
They,
women, when they propose to those women, they did not foresee themselves being in that situation. They did not necessarily see themselves wanting to get with other women. They didn't foresee
But you have
that.
to.
They didn't foresee
But you have to
themselves
talk.
being in that situation. And in this time, they done bought a home. They got a 500,000 or whatever mortgage. They got kids in private school. You know, they got a good job. You know, whatever, they got lots of things that they have put together for their line, and they run up on this sexual issue, and it's something that they're arguing about, and you don't want to argue, and you probably still actually love that woman even in spite of the sex issue. This is how men are really living. It's not a theory to millions of men. This ain't just some shit that, you talking about concubines and all that kind of stuff. Kings and shit have concubines. I'm talking about average men.
But what I want to rebuttal is that an average man. Hold on, GBR. An average man can get out of his relationship. What I'm saying, I don't see anything negative about what Roger is saying. I've invested in things, Uru, and there's a certain point you cut your losses. So I'm not saying that essentially that you could invest in a woman in a marriage and it can go left on you, but at that point you got to just cut your losses. Because like, think of the concept of like me being married and consider myself to be a certain type of man.
It depends on which losses. Your loss is, well, I give away half my shit or whatever, cut my losses. My losses is I go fuck some other hoe and keep it to myself.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say, if you get caught doing that, you will lose half of your shit too.
So again, I'll deal with it when I get caught.
So I'm trying to say that sounds cowardly. That's what Roger. It sounds cowardly. Why don't you say to her like, hey, listen?
From your perspective, that's fine. So be it. We all have our crosses to bear. We all have certain things that we accept about how we're going to live. There are certain things that I would do or have done or invested in, or sacrifices or risks that I've taken for my wife and my family. Other men probably would not have taken. Certain things I've done for my wife, other men and my wife's family, other men probably would not have done. So it's all, everybody focus on the sex thing. But I look at a marriage and a family and whatever much more holistic than. And I don't think it's particularly honorable to blow up a family because I want to get some action somewhere else. I don't necessarily consider that to be particularly honorable either.
I'm not thinking. I think it's
from my
that's
perspective,
not what I'm saying.
but I'm not a religious man.
No, I'm not talking about honor. I'm talking about contract. It's saying she's not doing her part of the contract, and you can't force her because she's an autonomous being.
What contract?
You know what I'm saying?
Hold on, what contract? I just told you earlier, there is nothing in American law that requires a wife to have sex with you.
But
there's nothing you can put in a prenup that requires her to have sex with you.
But what I'm saying, monogamy.
Where's the sexual contract that you refer to?
Monogamy.
It's all some speculation of what she might do if you do certain things.
I'm gonna suggest.
Hold on, Black Guru, but quickly, Roger. Monogamy is a social contract, isn't it, Black Guru?
Okay. Yep. But the implicit in that social contract is that she's going to actually fulfill the terms of that monogamy. Well, what happens when she stops?
So you get out of it. That's what I mean. You get out of that social contract. That's what I mean. What's the point of basically
you get out of it, or you make some adjustment to the terms. That suits your
and if you're gonna do, hold on, Roger. Just like any contract, you can have riders. So that's what I'm saying. Hold on, Roger. That's why I agree with you, Roger. Tell them up front.
It's not necessary. Why? Because this is something planned. I'm doing a whole show about, dealing with sex, marriage, and the whole enchilada. We could just save it. I'll do it tomorrow. It's I'll do that one tomorrow. But I'm gonna say, at the end of the day, it's not just about me. The guys ain't accepting it. Great Black Reset done said something. Black Root done said something. So they're not seeing this as something that's good, because this is for black men 18 to 64 in general. And I gotta hear Kevin point. Even though I ain't saying I would cheat, I do understand him, taking into calculations of how old his children are and how far before they become adults themselves and how he's going to manage that if the marriage is not good at that particular point. There's a lot of men who are going to be in
he
that
can apply
situation.
discipline in that scenario too. Cheating is not the alternative. He can literally just not have sex for 4 years.
That is true, and I do agree with that. But
you are welcome. You are welcome to do that. But if I decide I'm gonna go,
I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna divorce my wife.
You can decide to do for your. You can handle that situation how you see fit to do it.
I'm just gonna pay. I'm just gonna pay and leave. That's what I'm gonna do.
I'm leaving open the options. I'm leaving open the options to do what I have to do.
Enough. I'll do that show tomorrow, y'all. I'll just do the show about sex tomorrow. It's fine. Okay, because I ain't trying to stop neither one of y'all from making y'all points. But I do believe that's a 3-hour show. At least. I do believe that. Okay. We're not gonna come to terms with it right now. But obviously it's not being approved for the list. So again, y'all, the list ain't just about me. It just wasn't approved. It wasn't approved. We can always suggest it later, but at this point, it ain't approved. It is what it is. Shout out to Gun Guru. He said, black men, tattoo this list to your chest so she can have something to read during certain activities. And I'm going to say shout out to you for that, brother. Giving us something good to read ain't the worst thing in the world. That's all I'm going to say. And shout out to Landon. He say, how dare you put handcuffs on a man's piece? Uru. Y'all, and you know what? I'm the last person y'all gonna have up here trying to dick police somebody. So if black men ain't gonna accept it, I ain't gonna dick police you. That's just real talk. So it is what it is. I just accept it. It's not an accepted rule for now because it's about the mass, not the people who just happen to believe in what I believe in. This is about the mass of black men. And shout out to Inspired Truth Broadcast. He said the game is poker in reality. Uru understands it. And again, y'all, the court, even though monogamy is a contract, Black Uru makes a point because the courts don't support it as a contract. It's not an enforceable contract through the court system.
Nobody, yeah. Look, when they pass no-fault divorce, and then the woman can cheat on you and still take your kids in your home. Man, fuck that. I'm not playing straight in that world. I'm not playing straight in that world.
But that doesn't change the rule. Even if you play straight or not, the rules are still the rules. Once you get caught, you're going to pay the same price.
What rules? If your woman can cheat on you, if your woman can cheat on you, listen to me. If your woman can cheat on you, potentially even put a child on you that you have to still pay for after some certain period of time upon discovery or whatever of the child not being yours, but just by virtue of you being married to her, the child is automatically yours. In a world like that, you gonna play straight? Man, you crazy.
Both of you gentlemen.
In a world like that, you just don't get married, Black Food. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. But if you do, go ahead.
We will do it for at least 3 hours tomorrow, y'all. We giving it a whole show. Okay, I do it tomorrow.
I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, Roger. I'll be back.
Do it tomorrow. We will get it because I got some more suggestions and again, y'all, if y'all start putting suggestions out there, we will bring y'all suggestions up so we can see if it's going to be accepted or not. Okay. And you'll get a slightly bigger voice if you're on the panel. But if y'all are in the chat, if y'all are disagreeing with something, y'all got to make it known because I've seen certain little comments here and there, but I ain't seen nobody disagree with the stuff that has been approved. Now we got a couple things at this point that have not been approved, so we leaving those alone. The next thing up for approval. After moving from the home you were raised in. So y'all got to think about this. You were adolescents at some particular point. After moving from the home you were raised in, recognize your family as yourself, your wife, and your children. Any other relatives have become extended family. All right. To me, this is something that should be it should be seen as common sense, but I know we live in a country where this is not necessarily common sense. And I worded it that way deliberately as well. Let me read this real quick. Shout out to Positive Vibes. I'm gonna read this real quick. She says mandatory paternity test at birth made law now. You know what? There's some states that's considering that, but we don't even need that as a law. You know, we don't need the government to give and I know you may not know it. I've already done a show on this a couple times, but I'm gonna do it again, so it's on the channel. Mandatory paternity test is not gonna be good for the average black man, and we don't need to have to give the government that kind of power.
I think maybe it's Kentucky or Tennessee. The law is in order for a father to be declared a father on the birth certificate, that it must be preceded, and presumably outside of a marriage. Because I think probably the default would be, if they're married, the child is automatically the husband. But presumably, my understanding is not that every child must be tested. Every child, but any declaration, I guess, of paternity, official legal declaration of paternity, must be preceded by a positive DNA test. So that's a little bit different than what you're saying, Roger.
Yeah. And I haven't
It's
heard
basically the state supposedly trying to do the right thing. Now, again, as you recommend, the men should do it regardless of whatever the state requires. But
absolutely. And I haven't heard that that's a law anywhere. What I've heard was that it turned into they're gonna do like an automatic joint custody as default, and that's what I've heard. Automatic joint custody is as a default position after once a couple gets divorced. I haven't heard that they're gonna make somebody test the baby. I've not heard that yet. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I didn't hear that yet. Okay, I heard joint custody.
It probably only involves a newborn, or a baby, and again, probably outside of the context of a marriage.
Yeah. All right. Now, so we gonna moving into this next thing that I was saying, y'all. After moving from the home you were raised in, I know everybody don't necessarily get raised with their mom and dad. Some people don't even necessarily get raised by their own mom. Some people are foster children. Different situations people deal with. So after moving from the home you were raised in, recognize your family as yourself. That's important, y'all. Recognize your family as yourself, your wife, and your children. Any other relatives have now become extended family. Now, I'm saying that because black men have a hard time recognizing themselves as their family, because we believe we owe all these other people above and beyond ourselves. And if you're in a position like me, where you're still single and no children, I am my family. I'm not saying can nobody ask me for nothing. Okay? I got brothers and sisters. My brothers and my sisters can ask me for something. Hey, Rod, you got X, Y, and Z? Well, I'm my own family. Can I comfortably give you what you're asking me for without it jeopardizing my family? My family is me. And it don't have to be money. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's effort. Can you come do this thing for me? All that depends. Do I have to make certain adjustments because you're asking me to do something? You're extended family, but you're not my family. My family is me. Okay? If I get a wife, then she'll be included. If I have some children, then they'll be included. But I do believe black men really need to start seeing themselves as their family, and then the people you bring in after the fact, which I don't think black men think in those terms at all. It doesn't seem like. Not from a general perspective. I don't think we think that. You grown up, you leave, and you still look at your mom and dad as the same mom and dad you had when you were at home with them. Now, I love my mama, but even if my mama asks me for something, I got to see how that's going to affect me before I decide what I'm going to do. Some of y'all just going to say, well, I'm going to give it to my mama because it's my mama. Not me. It's going to be depend on what I can do. Now, I would say my mama doesn't usually ask me for something that I'm going to have to make any real decisions about. But that's my mama. There's a lot of mamas out here asking people to make sacrifices for them and do all kinds of stuff. And we say yes collectively because that's our mama. My mama's supposed to have a husband who's taking care of her. I got to consider me first. Now, my mama divorced. That's on her. I didn't tell her to divorce anybody. Real talk. Okay, that's a choice she made. Ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't have to take care of her just because she my mama. That's her husband's job. Now, I'm not saying I would treat my mama bogusly, but I do recognize it is not my job to be her husband. I didn't sign up for that. I never have, and I never will. Helping is one thing. Responsibility is another. So if I help my mama, which I can do, that is charity. I don't have pressure to help her. And I'm saying this because a lot of black men, when your mama say she wants something or needs something, y'all feel pressure to help her because she is your mother, because you're looking at her as a responsibility and not a charity. My mama is charity, not responsibility. I ain't saying don't do it if you're in a position to do it. Understand that. I'm not telling you don't look out for your mama. What I'm saying is recognize what it is. For me to help my mom, I'm giving charity. It's not my responsibility to make sure she's okay. I can make sure she's okay, but I don't have to. So there's a certain respect she has to have for me in order for me to be inclined to do things for her. And I'm saying this because a lot of y'all don't even require the respect that she should be giving you while you're helping her. And I've seen this plenty of times. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna see some more. I'm gonna see some more of it before the week is out. I'm gonna see men helping their mamas and their mamas disrespecting the heck out of them. Y'all, well, whoever this fits, you don't even get the little respect you deserve for helping your mom. That don't sound like a good thing for our community. So you're gonna have to start seeing folks as extended family. You done left your home, you got your own place now. Your mama's extended family. You're your family. When you get married, your wife, your family. You get some kids, them children, your family. The other folks are extended family. You can help them if it's okay for you to do so. There is no pressure or responsibility for you to take care of them. I do not feel any pressure to take care of my brothers, nor my sisters, nor any other relative that I do not live with, and I don't live with them. That does not mean they can't call me and ask for some help. And I may help them if it's good enough for me to help them without me making too much of a sacrifice. Okay, cool. Because I can do the same thing with them. That's a both-sided thing. A relative that won't help me, I'm not so quick to help them either. Because they're extended family. It is what it is. Now, to me, that should be easy for people to approve. But what say y'all?
Well, I mean, I think it makes sense. What you say makes sense, and you definitely learn this after you get married. And you know, one of the struggles I had early in my marriage was that I did look back too much to my mother and to extended family members. And they were largely because of things I just was not prepared to deal with. You know, I hadn't been raised by my father. I'd been around men, but I hadn't had that real kind of day to day, observant husband and wife uh, and all of what goes on in a household and that sort of thing. So I was I had a little arrested development, but I was blessed enough to have a lot of supported elder people, particularly on my wife's side of the family, who knew I meant well. I guess they knew I meant well. And for that reason, they supported me as I developed, I guess, as a husband and father. So, you know, a lot of that is gonna, you know, I don't know to what degree when I think about a lot of issues about Black men, I try to present to them the solution I try to present is that from a perspective of what they should not do, but what they should do. You know, one of the reasons why I say, you know, the most important thing you will establish for yourself as a man is having a life mission and a life uh, objective or vision, this sort of fantasy of what you're going to do in the world and what you're going to be in the world. And I know it sounds kind of far-fetched in a way, or it may sound far-fetched in a way, but it gives you something to push for, to pursue. And it helps you to, I think, to organize your life in a way. You mentioned productivity, function, productivity. It helps you to organize your life in a more productive way. It helps you to focus on achieving that vision or that mission. And it also then tells you a lot of things to do. It tells you to work out. It tells you to go get your counseling. It tells you, because these are all things that are necessary to pursuing that life mission, right? So it's a very sort of positive approach to things. Now, as you're seeing that counseling, or making the proper adjustments to your nutritional plan or whatever, you're also going to start to analyze your relationships. And are these relationships a part of your mission and objective, or help to contribute to your mission and objectives, or are they a detriment to it? And so you will start to evaluate your relationships, even including especially with people closest to you. And some of them are, you're going to start dealing with you're going to start dealing with your mother differently. You're going to start talking about your relationship with your mother in counseling, for example, and what not to do, and maybe be less available to her or visit her less, that sort of thing. So I recommend take the approach, a positive approach of what your life mission and objectives is. And then I think that will help you to resolve that kind of thing in regards to what your family is and isn't.
You're still muted, Roger, just in case you're talking.
Thank you, brother, because I definitely was. Now, compassion kind of say 50% of the audience disagrees. I'm looking at comments. I'm not really seeing y'all as disagreeing. So if y'all are disagreeing, y'all let me know if y'all disagree with this now. Because again, if this ain't just about me, this is something that we should be able to actually put in little booklets or pamphlets or something, and we should be able to start giving this to other black men and young black men before they even become adults, so they'll understand what their expectation, okay, is. He said it's a poll in the chat, Raj. I don't see it. I don't see him. Now, if y'all disagreeing, we gonna scratch this one too. Okay, if y'all disagreeing, I'm gonna scratch this one too. Y'all got to let me know. Because if y'all disagreeing, we scratch it. We didn't scratch the $100,000 thing for now. We didn't scratch the cheating thing for now, and we scratched something else for now. So are we scratching this one too? Okay, are we scratching this one too, y'all? Is mama extended family? Is your brother extended family because y'all done moved out the house you grew up in? Or are we obligated to these people as if they're our immediate family? Because that's really what I'm talking about. Are we treating people as immediate family because we are related to them? Or once we moved out, are we treating them as extended family? And you don't do as much as for your extended family as you do for your immediate family. And I understand I got a big extended family. Your cousin don't.
If you get counseling, and you have been mildly, moderately, or substantially successful, especially in comparison to your sibling, or your birth family, and maybe they have not ascended in the way you have, you're going to experience something that's called survivor's guilt, where you feel obligated to share your successes with family. you know, we see it very commonly amongst, you know, black. You rarely see it amongst white athletes. You see it very commonly amongst, you know, professional football players and basketball players, black professional football players, black, where they overextend themselves to family and even sort of childhood friends because of this feeling of guilt, this generosity that is sort of based on this sort of guilty feeling of being awarded so much more than they are. And a lot of this sort of holding on to mama and and little brother Pookie and whatever is, and I'm using terms somewhat derogatively to emphasize the point, is that it's a survivor's guilt. It's a feeling like, you know, why was I able to do this and everybody else weren't able to do this as well? So then I got to overextend myself to maintain this primary kinship with them, which will very often include spending money on them you ain't got no business spending on them, investing in some lame brain business, you know, idea that you had no business doing, letting them live in your house, you know, all that kind of stuff. So you're talking about, you know, how you see them family. I'm talking about, you know, what people actually do that says that they consider people to still be their primary family. I'm also talking about why very often black men in particular do it. I think black women do it to some degree too, but not necessarily as much, because the bottom line with women is they still expect to get more than they give in general, you know. But men, we tend to default on giving and doing more than what we get. And that's going to happen if we have this sort of survival guilt thing with our primary family. It's very common amongst black men who come out of communities that they succeeded out of, so to speak. Um, and so they still cling to their primary family because of that sort of guilty feeling of success. And it don't have to be um, he got an NBA contract or whatever. It could just be he was the only one in the family that graduated from college or whatever and got a decent corporate job or, you know, something like that. So it's a fairly common thing. And it's a baby mama phenomenon. It does not happen as much when mama and daddy stay together. It's very much a feature of baby, this extending family thing beyond marriage is very much a baby mama phenomenon.
All right, look, y'all. I can't tell y'all what to do. We a bunch of grown men. We either accept something or we don't. Okay, and I'm not trying to force the exception on anybody, because again, y'all, this ain't just about me at the end of the day. It's not just about me. Compassion and Callous, I guess, is running the poll. And he's saying the poll is like 67%. At this point, agree. 33% still say it's responsibility. He says it's only 21 votes. It doesn't really make that big of a difference how many votes it is. I mean, I thought this was going to be an easy one. What say you? No placeholder,
Look,
black
no,
guru.
I'm not. Look, I'm not going to lie in terms of how I actually live my life. Yeah, my mother was going to be my responsibility to the day I died. Now, or to the day she died. Now, I was blessed enough to be able to do certain things for her that wasn't particularly burdensome on me. And to some degree, I think, and this is ironic, I think had my mother actually allowed me to really do more, I think she would have lived a little longer. But she made choices about herself and her life, and I respect that about her. She lived a long life, you know, as a relatively independent, you know, silent generation or whatever, and you know, she lived that until the day she died. But but yet to some degree, I felt responsible for my mother, but I never put her before my wife and my children. So I don't think I would qualify what I did for my mother as being charity. I don't think with all due respect, and I get the point you're making. I'm just saying for myself, I don't, me personally, and it wasn't just me, I guess. I mean, yeah, I guess I was my mother's favorite child, and I think that was a part of it too. I was obviously her favorite child, so I think that was part of it too. But I don't know. I just it was one of those things. It's sort of like, do the Avengers risk their lives for charity, or do they think it's their responsibility? I think they, even though it is charity, but I think they think it's their responsibility. So you know, it it kind of all depends on how you look at it, I guess.
You know what, y'all? As I keep saying, this ain't about just me. It's about what we can collectively come to terms with as Black men. So, you can even put this stuff, we can print this stuff up, give it out to other people. So if we can't agree to that, we can't agree to that. It is what it is. 21%. Go ahead. No placeholder.
No, go ahead and tell me your stats. Go ahead, tell me your stats.
No, he's at first it was 50-50, but Compassion Canada said there's a poll in the chat, and 67% said that it's basically it's our responsibility to do it rather than it's being charity to do it. So if Black men have not accepted that they don't owe that to well, I'm gonna say what I would consider extended family.
Roger, which did you? Are we asking the same question? Are you talking about the idea of how you classify family, or how you? Because I understand what you're saying, Roger. Because if your parents had you as for the purpose of them being retired or relying on that for retirement, you kind of disappoint them, Roger. If you say that at this point now that you left the house and your wife and kids, all that matters, considering that the foundation of everything you have came from your parents. You see?
I'm not saying that that's all that matters. I'm saying that if I do not live with you, you are my extended family. I got to make sure my family good first before I make any move for your family. If you don't live with me, I'm not in the same family with you. I got to consider mine before I decide what I'm gonna do with yours.
I see why
That
you
don't
get. I
sound
see why you
bad to
haven't.
me.
Yeah, but
No, it doesn't
there's a
sound bad, Roger.
difference between,
Yeah.
but you're talking about difference in priority. Yeah, obviously my marital family or whatever, wife and children are my priority or my numero uno priority. But I would not consider what I do or what I would do for my mother to be charity, because charity is something that you do something based on what. Uh, I mean, I did think until she died, I felt like I owed my mother. I owed her the love and the support and the goodwill that she invested in me, and she continued to invest in me long after, um, long after I was a grown man. I mean, to my mother, I was a superhero, dude. You can tell nobody nothing about me. So again, it's kind of depends on the quality and the nature of the relationship. I mean, yeah, some people have different relationships with their mothers, and there's a cord that's cut, and that's great, you know. But I mean, honestly, I don't know if my marriage survives without the support of my mother. I don't know if my younger child survives without the support of my mother. So I mean, and here's the thing too, you know, and maybe this is generational and geographical. I was born in Mississippi Delta. I come from a community of a village of people. It wasn't this hard kind of, uh, nuclear family thing. It was a lot of grandmothers and TTs and Uncle Joes and, you know, all kind of adding stuff and doing stuff. My uncle taught me to drive a car. It wasn't my father, it was my uncle, for example. So I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying. I'm just saying that there is some complexity there. And depending on the how and the quality of life and investment, my aunt rented my my aunt rented my car for my prom. It was just a lot of different kind of, and that aunt is still alive. She's still alive to this day. So I don't know. It's just different. People have different kinds of relationships. I'm kind of rambling, but people have different kind of relationships with their extended family, and sometimes it does bleed beyond or over into things beyond just what is in a marriage versus not. But I'm rambling. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's all right. Since Compassion is running surveys and whatnot, and he said 21% just wasn't rocking with it. I'm scrapping that one for now too, y'all. I'm scrapping that one for now too. It is what it is. But let me say and make this clear to all y'all listening. I ain't tell none of you niggas you can't help your mom. Okay? Now I'm saying that in a loving and joking way, but I'm not saying you cannot help your mama. I ain't saying you can't help your auntie, your cousin, whoever. All I'm saying is,
okay, but the poll describes that as charity, and I think people, words are important. I don't think that someone, even though they respect their marriage and respect that marriage has priority, I don't think a lot of people would view helping their mother as being charity. I just don't.
well, that's why
So
I'm
so I
scrapping
Not
think
me.
we might have a
Yeah, not
diction.
me, Roger.
I think we have a diction
That,
issue here. you know,
yeah,
uh, I
that's an
think we have a
obligation for
diction
me,
issue
Roger.
here. That's my point.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
say my mother is never going to be my responsibility. Am I willing to help my mama in certain situations? Absolutely, but I'm never gonna see it as a responsibility. I'm gonna do good
You do
things
it
for her
again,
because
Roger.
she did good things for me. But I ain't gonna never see it as a responsibility. She's my
You
she's
do.
she was my dad's responsibility until they got divorced. Now, if she wants
Notice what you're
somebody else
saying.
to have that responsibility, she needs to marry somebody.
That's right.
Yeah, I
I said, notice.
respect.
No,
I respect that's how you. I respect that's how you view that situation, and there's merit to that. Um, but again, you know, the quality of the relationship, and because a lot of times things just don't end at 18 or when you leave the home. The contributions that your mother make, your family make, maybe your father make, they don't necessarily end there. And that is a part of the building of who and what you are. And to some degree, you do have some sense of uh, obligation to reciprocate. Now, again, once you get married, you are going to make uh, your wife and or you should make your wife and your children your numero uno uh, obligation. But here's also the thing too. Now, and this is just me. You realize that to the extent that you honor and respect those relationships, to the extent that I honor and respected my relationships with my mother, with my wife's mother, or my grandmother, my wife's grandmother, um, I was enriched by those relationships. I was financially enriched by those relationships, particularly with my wife's mother and grandmother in particular. So even so terming something that I would do for them, I'm talking about my relationship with them. I'm not talking about in a general theoretical sense. I'm talking about my relationship with them. if there was any charity going on, the charity was coming to me. they were being very charitable to me. You know,
Hey, that's all right. And
you know,
nothing wrong with that.
so yeah. So to some extent, you know, just again labeling it as charity, it sort of minimizes the quality of the exchange. Maybe that's what I'm intending to say. It minimizes the quality of the exchange because it's not charity. I give charity to somebody. I'm walking down the street and I see some brother and he looks like he needs a cup of soup or something. I give him $5. That's charity. That's not what's happening. That's not what happened between me and my mom, grandmother. It's
Hey,
just
y'all
not
some
charity.
good-hearted people.
That's just not what I would term that. That's
There's
not
nothing
something I would
wrong with
term.
that, y'all. Look, y'all are some good-hearted people. I'm saying that about Black Rule and anybody else who see it that way. Because I can tell you right now, if I give my brother some money and I tell him he ain't got to give it back to me, I see that as charity. We don't live together no more. Now, if it happened when we used to live together, that would be different. I probably would look at it as a responsibility. That's my brother. I got to make sure my brother's all right. My brothers are grown men. You know what I'm saying? That's just what it is at this point. so I'm gonna see it as charity. I see helping my mama as charity. I do believe charity is good. I've said that multiple times that charity is a good thing to do. And you know what? If I'm gonna give charity, why not start with some relatives? That's how I look at it. But no, I don't see people who are not in my immediate family as my responsibility, and my immediate family is me. And I know that's tough for some people when they think I owe them something, but that's just what it is. My immediate family is me. And that's just the way it is. But y'all remember, this ain't about me. This is about the things we can agree to. So we at the 3 hour mark. So I'm gonna bring this to a close. So we got 5 things that did get an approval. And we'll be doing more of this from time to time. I got the suggestion that was in the super chats and all that. If y'all have other suggestions, leave a comment, saying like better black men, and then give your suggestion, and I will bring it up in a future show. But y'all, everybody want Roger to do stuff like off the fly. Roger can't live his whole life off the fly. You gotta make a comment so I can get to it. Again, I look at the comments almost every day. Okay, almost every day. So what has been accepted? We got accept that our community is black men that are respectable, productive, functional men who believe in black men's leadership, our wives, and our children that live in our homes. The second one was have all newborn babies take paternity tests before you sign the birth certificate. Third one was complete high school diploma or GED. Fourth one was have a woman sign a prenuptial agreement prepared by an attorney before you get married. And my bad. That was it. That was it. So it was only 4. That's what we got to. The rest of them was scratched. So we scratched about 3 or 4 of them so far. The other stuff we suggested they will come up in question later, y'all, because we will be doing more and more of these shows. So we got 4 to live by for now. I think that's at least is a good start, y'all. We got 4 that we can live by for now. Write them down, put them in the booklet, send it to a friend, whatever you got to do, y'all. But I think these are things that we need to start taking seriously as black men. If y'all want things to improve this the way we say we want them to improve, then we got to do something to help improve them. So we got 4 things to go with for now. Okay, we got 4 things that's for men that are 18 and 6 between 18 to 64 years old. Okay. So I think this still was a good show. We will definitely do more of this later. I'm gonna read this real quick. I'm just curious, just because it's a question right at the end. American Prince of Wales asks, he says, question, if taking care of your own family takes up 90% of your income, and if your mother who has divorced your father has no job, how do you handle this supposed extra responsibility? You handle it the best way you can. She ain't your responsibility, y'all. It's your mama, yes. I know y'all love your mamas. I'm not going to even act like y'all don't love your mamas. I love my mama too. But sometimes even my mama, I might have to say no. Now, my mama at least has told me You know, in a public setting, she said, I do not try to put my kids in situations where they got to make sacrifices for me. My mama at least has said that publicly to people. And I respect my mama for being that way. Why? Because she understands that her husband is the person who's supposed to be responsible for her. And she understands I'm not him. And that's just real talk. That my mama loved me and I still love her, y'all. Neither one of us stopped loving each other because we both agree that I am not responsible for her. That does not mean I won't help her from time to time. That does not mean when she get old and need a place to live that I won't let her live with me, even though I don't expect her to. I can honestly say I don't expect her to. I would assume she'll live with one of my sisters before she'll move in with me. Shout out to me for having sisters. Okay. That's gonna be my expectation. Now, if my mama needed to live with me, I wouldn't tell her she can't. I would let my mother come in. Now, if she lived with me, that kind of turns it into more of an immediate family situation because now we live together. But right now, we don't. So I see her as extended family. I ain't saying you have to agree. I'm just telling you where I'm coming from. But I think it's been a great show. But we definitely have done 3 hours, so we about to bring this to a close. We gonna deal with that sex conversation tomorrow. So Great Black Reset, you done came back. Any last comment you want to make on this particular show?
Man, I apologize, man. I somehow got in the dead zone where nothing was working. I think we got off to a good start. Um, some things that we really do need to think about, but this also shows that as black men, we do need to start taking life more seriously as individuals and as collectives. So I hope we continue to move forward and make progress with this and
So they
finish out
said,
this project.
I appreciate that, brother. Appreciate that. No placeholder. You got it. Any last comment you want to make?
No, very quickly, Raj, you did a great job. I like the idea of what you bring in terms of policies. I'm saying those policies are just like standard operating procedures. They're very necessary because they're something you can rely upon and always use as a guide for making decisions. So I think you're doing a good thing. And yeah, we appreciate you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to say, y'all, these ain't my things. These are black men's things. Because I want this stuff to spread, and I know there can be issues about who did what. Now, I'm not promoting this as my thing. These are black men's things, the things we're agreeing to. Whatever we can get past us. Whatever we can get approved by us. Okay? So they're not my thing. These are us as black men things. Okay. And Great Black Reset, I appreciate you for saying that you got caught up in the mountains. Black Roo didn't have no problem taking your time. So don't we ain't miss you. He made sure you did. He gave us plenty of words because you was missing.
Yeah, you said that real nice, like you said that real nice.
I'm just joking. But Black Roo, real talk though. Any last words you want to say on this one?
No, I think it was a great show. I think it was a great way to begin to establish. We've often talked about there not being sort of a code amongst black men. So I think this is a great overture in that direction. A couple of things we appear to disagree on or appear to need some refinement, but I mean when they went during the Continental Convention of the for the writing of the Constitution, dudes were fist fighting, how they were writing the U.S. Constitution. So comparatively speaking, we're doing pretty well, I guess, in that regard. So I look forward to us continuing to do more of it. I think it'd be a great thing, and I hope it's the kind of thing that sort of spreads throughout the Black Manosphere. So as always, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I plan to make this a regular thing that we do from time to time. Shout out to No Guarantees. He said, Roger Report, can we review Think and Grow Rich? I will consider that, y'all. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I have to go buy the book again and reread it again because I ain't read it in a long time. And unfortunately for me, I lost a lot of books, man. There's an unfortunate situation I had, and I lost a lot of books. It happened to me a while ago. I'm still salty about it. Every time I had to think about it, I get salty about it because I lost at least 60 unread books. It was some books I had already read, but I had a good 60 in there that I hadn't even read yet. So thanks, No Guarantees. You just reminded me of how salty I'm supposed to be about these books. Think and Go Rich was part of that book collection, but at least I had read that one. But I'm gonna have to reread that again. So we probably will review it in the future. I ain't gonna make no promise right now because I'm gonna need to go somewhere and get that book and reread it. Because I do like having a copy that I can take somewhere with me. Real talk. I ain't got into the Kindle thing yet, y'all. I'm trying to progress a little bit here and there. So maybe somewhere next year I'll try to take on doing stuff by Kindle or whatever, but I ain't got there yet, y'all. I like a regular book in my hands. Real talk. I do like a regular book. That's just me. But I'll probably reread that and maybe we can go over that one, So good suggestion. Great suggestion. I would definitely keep that in mind for stuff to do in the future. I'm happy it went the way it went, y'all. Y'all threw out some great stuff though. I anything I suggest, I just automatically put it in the great category. But y'all threw some stuff out. But hey, we gonna keep adding some new stuff. And I think if we take these things seriously, Black men are gonna be way better off. So we got 4 things that we've kind of agreed upon at this particular point. Hey, it's a good starting 4. It is what it is. That's how, I guess we got our Mount Rushmore of ideas so far. We will continue more in the future. So expect it. Thank you for everybody who has come through and enjoyed the show with us. If you are new here, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We do this 9 a.m. Chicago time. I know everybody listen don't live in Chicago. So you got to go see what time it is for you and then what time it is for us. When it's 9 a.m., that's the time you pick. Okay, that could be 10 o'clock for you, might be 11, but figure out what 9 a.m. Chicago time is for you so you can come through Monday through Friday and get some of not some of, the best content on social media. That's what we give out over here. The best content on social media. We're not going to keep talking about having the code. We just going to make the code. When you see a problem, you fix the problem. That's what you do, right? So we're making the code now. It is what it is. Spread the word around. Young Black men should have some expectation of what they're doing. This is the stuff for 18 to 64-year-olds, y'all. 18 to 64. Now, if y'all believe we need to stretch the ages, y'all can say that. But I'm keeping it at 18 to 64 because I plan on retiring at 65. That's what I'm trying. I told you I'm trying to play some Call of Duty. I got to retire so I can have time to do that. I ain't saying anybody has to retire. I just want us with the ability to retire. Y'all have a good rest of y'all day. It's been wonderful. Long live the Habitual Line Steppers. I'm Roger. I'm right. And I'm out.